how the larger the more pigeons there are in a group, the more likely they are to flock away from the drones. Does this say anything about mass hysteria? It sort of, to me, it seems like a large group of people are more likely to get in a stampede and trample each other and get freaked out at a concert or something than a small group of people.
Totally. I mean, yeah. So I haven't thought about it in terms of people, but I have thought about it in terms of like schools of fish. And like the thing is that a school of fish is set up to be a giant detection network looking for predators. And the more fish that are in it, the more eyes are looking for predators, and it becomes more and more efficient. And there are a whole bunch of experiments that look at how schools perform under different criteria. And basically, the larger the group, the more effective the individuals within the group are. And what happens is the whole collective starts to work like its own super organism, like its own super brain, where basically by watching each other and seeing if somebody near you is flinching and deciding to flinch if they flinch, and just being in just following a very simple set of rules, as a fish, alone, you're at much higher risk, but once you're in a school of 10 individuals, you're much safer, and then once you're in a school of 100 or 1,000, you're even safer. And so here you have proof that may happen with pigeons, where if a pigeon's group, a part of a very large group of pigeons, it's quite well protected against predators, because if anything comes nearby, the whole thing takes off into a big cloud of pigeons, and you're probably not going to be the one that gets picked off. Whereas if you're a pigeon all by yourself, a predator's more likely to be able to pick you out, and you're much less likely to see it. And so, but it's not just whether you're with a group or alone, it's the bigger the group, the better. And so that makes me think very differently about groups of pigeons and how many are in the group and why that's effective. And, you know, in Toronto, where I live, there are different groups of pigeons of different sizes in different places. And so now I'm like going to be obsessing about it every time I walk by them. I don't know. I think that's the neatest part of the paper for sure.
It's a really cool finding. All right, we come now to that wonderful, that special, that amazing feeling.
Tiring.
Oops, wrong sound effect. I better cut that out. We come.
No, you're not. Leave that in for sure.
I meant to play the harp noise, you know, like that, like a Romeo and Juliet thing. Fine, we'll keep it in the interview. All right, we're keeping it. Everything's in the interview. But that special feeling that I was hoping to play harp. Yeah, there you go. I know that feeling because, Dan, when my eyes first locked with yours over a Zoom chat, and we first talked about science for this week in science, I knew you and I were meant to spend about 20 minutes together every week until you're sick of me. So,
the song "I Will Survive," as long as I know how to love, I know it to be alive. It has harp in it. I didn't really realize that until I was listening to it with the kids recently. We're running a little bit of a disco thing right now in our car.
Oh, cool.
Go on.
In the 70s. Okay, so that magic feeling when you just connect with someone.
Oh, right, yes. Oh, yes, when you connect with someone, yes. So there's a study on how people feel connected to other people and what makes that happen. And what it comes down to, so here's how they did it. They had people have a conversation with either a stranger or with somebody they know well, and then after the conversation, which was recorded, they said, how did you feel? Did you feel connected? Did you feel not connected? And people would sort of rate how connected and how much they felt like there was a spark there. Not necessarily romantic, but just like the energy that you have when you have a conversation, you're engaged. And it turns out that the best predictor of whether they would say they felt like they were engaged was the short time between talkers. So when one person finished talking, the next person jumped in immediately and picked up where they left off without any long pause. And when that happened, people felt more connected than when there were long pauses. And when they played recordings of conversations to eavesdroppers, people that weren't part of the conversation, they could tell accurately if there was a connection or not by how long those gaps were. So this all comes down to how a good interview happens, right? It's like, see, there you go. You jumped on my words right there.
Well,
immediately.
I want to know to our listener, our one listener out there, do Dan Riskin and I have chemistry? If we do or do not, text us at 71010. We will get you the results momentarily, Dan.
Right, we will. And see how I picked up right where you left off. So this is neat because for two reasons. One is it tells you a little bit about what makes brains tick. Scientists say that if you're talking that fast and you're taking less than a quarter of a second to pick up where the other person left off, that doesn't give you cognitive time to be dishonest. So you're actually really engaged. You're actually really there. And so it's an honest signal of whether you're invested in the relationship. But the other piece is, if you're having awkward conversations with people and you feel like they're awkward, consider the gap in time. Maybe that's what's going on. Or maybe once you identify, you feel like, well, maybe, if I just acknowledge that this person takes a minute to think before they talk, maybe that's why this feels so awkward and I should just not get so worked up about it. And lastly, I think that's why choppy Zoom calls feel so bad. Like when you have a Skype conversation with somebody, there's a huge gap between when they talk and when you talk. Oh, it feels terrible. I think this
there's one thing I need to say to you, Dan, and it's in the form of a sound effect. It was that feeling when our eyes locked that first time you came for this week in science.
Oh, yes.
I can see that.
All right, we'll be back with more Dan Riskin for This Week in Science. I'm David Cooper. This is The Late Show, Graham.
When a story needs to be told, when you need to be heard, reach out to CJAD 800 and let us do the talking. Tell us about it through your story at CJAD800.com. Because we're listening to the voice of the community, the voice of Montreal, CJAD 800.
This is the sound of medicine. When you stay at a Ronald McDonald House, close to your sick child, family is medicine. And right now,
How convenient. The McDonald's is the only thing that's open.
when families stay together at a Ronald McDonald House near the hospital, sick children get stronger.
Oh, the super hospital.
Investment advisor with Mandeville Private Client. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. It's the most overused expression to describe diversification. But is it the right advice? This level of innovation requires a guide, someone who can advise you and personalize your investment strategy. It's time to feed your interest. To learn more, visit followmichael.ca. That's followmichael.ca. Mandeville Private Client Inc. is a member of the Investment Industry Regulatory Organization of Canada and a member of the Canadian Investor Protection Fund.
Hi, Dom here for ResAV. In the past, people had to travel for business meetings to keep their companies going and growing. Well, not anymore. Let ResAV show you how to set up cost-efficient and easy-to-use automated video conferencing solutions. Whether it's for a big boardroom, a small collab, or office space, ResAV has the expertise to help your company and save you money. For more information and a free evaluation, call us 514-439-3901. We're ResAV. And best of all, we come to you.
I'm Andres Pedrix with Royal LePage Elite. If you're thinking of selling your house or upgrading, downsizing, or buying a new home, call me. Selling or buying, you can absolutely count on me to get it right. Please, jot down my number, 892-6547. And remember my name, Andres Pedrix, Royal LePage Elite, 892-6547.
For all your real estate needs, reach Andres, Nicholas, or Alexander, the Pedrix team at Pedrix, PEDRIKS.ca.
Gentlemen, are we having trouble in the bedroom? It can be hard, so to speak, to talk about intimacy issues. Or maybe it's not hard, as it were. If you feel like it's all happening too fast, consider a visit to Elna Sexual Wellness. Talk about it with your partner. That's the most important part. And then book a consultation at elnasexualwellness.com. Even if it's medical treatments, help is available. Always with respect and discretion. Take a break from your usual online activity and visit elnasexualwellness.com.
Hi, this is Caroline of Bon Si Bon with a message all about the gift of time, because we know that your time is precious. And as the good times roll in, you can count on Bon Si Bon to deliver quality fresh meals to your door every week, giving you time to do the important things, time to spend with your family, time to do what you love, time to take a break, time to be a better you. Get back to doing what you love and let Bon Si Bon take care of dinner. Isn't it about time? BONCBON.com. They're called Cuisine West Island because they made their name manufacturing and installing new kitchens. But why stop there? Transform your entire home with Cuisine West Island the way you like it. Contemporary, modern, country, urban, kitchens, bathrooms, or built-in furniture. Everything is designed and manufactured right here in Montreal and installed by the professional team at Cuisine West Island. Pop in and see for yourself at 2758 St. Charles in Kirkland or at cuisinewestisland.com. Cuisine West Island, for those not easily impressed.
CTV's 911 Lone Star is burning up the screen, one heart-pounding episode after another.
All right, we're coming towards you.
Rob Lowe stars in an all-new 911 Lone Star. Get into it Monday at 8, only on CTV, then stream anytime.
Oh, God.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along. Which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.ca/Canada. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
Citywide, 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.ca/Canada. That's ZipRecruiter.ca/Canada. ZipRecruiter.ca/Canada.
David Cooper is on the iHeartRadio Talk Network.
And we're back with the Late Show Graham. I'm guest host David Cooper. It's This Week in Science. We are joined by evolutionary biologist Dan Riskin and the iHeartRadio Talk Network science and technology expert he is. Dan Riskin, thank you for being here.
Are you still a guest host? I mean, it feels like you're the host.
I'm the permanent, temporary, assigned and unassigned guest and also real host of the show that may or may not have a regular host. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's way clearer.
Yeah. I thought that would be clear for
Yeah,
you.
now I'm totally understanding it.
Maybe I could cheat my way into getting the show. How's that for transition? I'm
cheating.
one of the greats in the business. Speaking of cheating, you know what's so hot right now? Ovens. Ovens can be very hot right now.
I was making a different joke. Cheating is hot.
Is it?
Well, I mean, like, relationship cheating. A lot of people are doing that right now.
Oh, you getting into that right now?
Not me.
Okay.
Other people.
Yeah. We're breaking the news on Riskin's affair.
And I'm the most surprised to know about
You are the shocked to find out that you were having an affair.
Shocked. You will be shocked.
Your wife almost didn't believe the announcement. Speaking of cheating, you know what's a 5-letter word? Cheat. And you know what game is so hot right now, unlike ovens, and like ovens that are on, just not like ovens.
Ovens is a 5-letter word.
It is.
And you could open with that. And you could start, if you were doing a game of Wordle, which is where this is going, you could start with the word ovens. Now, the V, really, do you think there's really going to be a V in the word? I mean, the whole idea is you're trying to get the letters that are going to be in the final word to be in your guesses. And then, go from there, right? So it would behoove you as a player to know what the most popular letters are.
Wholeheartedly disagree. If you take a gamble on a long shot letter like a Q, an X, a W, a Z, and you get it in the first one, it's very likely you'll get a solver in 2, which is a very satisfying feeling. Whereas if you play it safe and you go with a common word like beads or something like that, you're probably going to take more words, right? You know, a bunch of vowels, a bunch of common consonants.
Right. It doesn't really narrow it down. It's just you have this satisfaction knowing, okay, some of the letters I need are on the rack. So I have it. So at least I know there's an A in the second spot, so I'm good there.
For anyone who doesn't understand what we're talking about, go play Wordle. It's worth it. But
if you haven't played Wordle yet, I'm happy for you because you're about to find joy. You're about to find bliss.
So the question is, do you want to come off as smart every day, like you solve it in 4 by making these smart guesses?
Is 4 the smart cutoff?
3 or 4 is the smart cutoff. Or do you want to gamble on a long shot and get a 2? Because if you want to get a 2, get a Z in there, get an X in there, get a Y in there.
Sorry, long shot. Just so we're clear, long shot means you also are likely to get like a 5 or a 6, right? Because it's a long shot.
Exactly. You're likely to either lose or get it in 6, where if you haven't played, you only have 6 turns and then you're done.
What I like about the game is that it gives you a histogram of your performance over time afterwards, right? It gives you how many 6s you've got, how many 5s, how many 4s, how many 3s, how many 2s, how many 1s, and you get you can see the bell curve forming, right? But what you're suggesting would give a different bell curve. Like mine goes from I got a 2 once, but that was the first time I ever played, and I knew what the answer was, so that should be on there. And then
You got a 1 when you knew it.
I didn't get a 1. No, I still got a wrong one. I was figuring it out. And then, but after that, I played honest. And anyway, I've got predominantly 4s, and then I've got a 6 on there, and then the rest sort of fill in. But it makes a bell curve. But what you're suggesting with this other strategy would give you a bimodal distribution where you have a hump around the 2s and a hump around the 6s, and your 4s would not be that common because you're playing the long game. Very interesting. I would love to see
Don't
that.
show anyone your Instagram, okay?
Oh.
They're going to have 6s and 5s on there. But you show them when you get it too, and they'll be very impressed.
Right.
Okay.
Cheat, Dan.
Or cheat. Okay, so here's my cheat. There are 2 cheats, and neither of them is very good, so you can do them and still feel like you won if you want. They're not very strong cheats, but here's one. First of all, I'm going to tell you the 5 most common letters in Wordle as not just the 5 most common common letters in the English alphabet, but the 5 most common letters as they have appeared in the first 221 games of Wordle, which goes up to January 26th. So it's not quite up to date, but it's pretty good. Basically, it's probably the same answer, even with the last couple of games included. Those 5 letters are E is the most common, followed by R, then 2 more vowels, A, O, and then T.
A route. I routed with Dan today.
Right, now it won't let you put in a fake word like erout, which is now a word because we've said it so many times.
It's what you were caught doing, which led to the cheating, Dan.
Right, erout. Yes. Anyway, but you can spell orate with that, which is something we're doing right now, orating. So, thus, orate is a strong contender. Now, I will say that I used orate as my opener today, and it didn't help at all for the reasons you're describing. It's a terrible choice for today. So it's not the winning word, and it doesn't even really help that much. So depending when you listen to this, I don't know how helpful that is for you. But anyway, those are the 5 most common letters. So put that in your back pocket and just hang on to that. The other thing to know is that the source code for Wordle itself is right on the website. So if you go to the website, you say show source, it'll be a very short set of code, and part of that is a URL, which links to another page where the 14,000 words that it chooses from, the 14,000 5-letter words that it chooses from are listed. So if you want a full list of possible answers, it's 14,000 words long, but you can have that. And if that helps you, great.
Okay, so you could guess from 1 in 14,000.
Yeah, I mean, if you really wanted to play hard, you could, if you had 2 letters, you could then do a search, do a query of that. You could have, a database ready to go and, know which words from that database could possibly appear, but don't do that. Just play it, get your funny distribution, and then show your Instagram to people.
Show your histogram to people, but don't get arrested while doing it. Now, speaking of getting arrested, you know who doesn't get arrested very often? Babies. How do you like that transition?
Babies do not get arrested at all.
What are you guys talking about?
Will. Oh, I'll make the jokes around here, Dan. And babies do enjoy putting the odd thing in their mouth, and now they're saying, and by they I mean some researchers are saying that.
They want me to finish the sentence?
No, I mean, I was just being dramatic. I mean, you can. You'll do it better than me. But
no, keep going. I want to know where this goes.
You know where this goes.
I do.
They notice that those around them, their caregivers, they notice what they're putting in their mouth too, and they seek to perhaps mimic it.
Yeah, well, it's a little more subtle than that. What they're paying attention to is who in the house shares things that they put in their mouths. Who's kissing? Who's taking a bite of a banana and then passing the banana to somebody else and they finish it, right? When you share stuff with your spit touches, you know, as a grown-up, that means something. You don't share stuff with people in the office hey, can I have a bite of your mouth? Sure, have a bite of my mouth. No, you don't do that. Especially in the pandemic. I mean, you didn't even do that before the pandemic, but in the house, you're can I have a bite of your mouth? Sure, take a bite. Or your kid, you're here, bite up the end of this and eat the rest of that. That's what families do. But the thing is, babies have an intuitive sense that means something special, which is really cool. So the way they did this experiment is they had these babies, and they all watched these videos, and in the video there's a puppet between 2 women. And one of the women shares some food with the puppet. She takes a bite and gives a bite to the puppet. And the other woman shares a ball with the puppet. So the puppet holds the ball and gives it to the woman. So they're not sharing food or putting things in their mouth, but they are still getting along, and they have the same kinds of interactions. And then in the movie, the puppet gets distressed, it loses something or it's crying or something like that. And they track the eyeballs of the babies to see where the eyeballs expect help to come from. And the babies look to the one that shares food with the puppet, because they understand intuitively, babies understand intuitively that if that person is sharing food with that puppet, she must have a special relationship with them. And they track kids that are slightly older, and they ask them actual questions where they're old enough to answer multiple choice questions. And they too, kids between 5 and 7, also really understand that if you're sharing things with your mouth, you have a special relationship. So this is just something we kind of know as adults about humans. But it turns out that babies know that right out of the get-go, and you've known it your whole life.
It's kind of interesting. They know it instinctively, can I say?
Yeah, it's just really neat what they're paying attention to, right? Who knew that a baby that's watching you when it's just developing in the house is paying attention to, you have that in your mouth, now Daddy's got it, and he's having a bite of it. So,
what's Daddy putting in his mouth?
It looks like a really dirty snack. Whoa. Pulling out of the... Yeah.
Dan Riskin, big affair, big announcement tonight. He's putting things in his mouth.
Big night for Dan. He's really trying to get himself fired or canceled or something.
Mostly, I'm doing my best to make sure you hate me, Dan.
No, I would never do that. I wouldn't share food with you, but I get along.
I wouldn't share food with you. Dan Riskin, in one word Is Elon Musk going to crash on the moon?
Oh.
Yes. That was my answer. It was in 0 words.
Yeah.
Yeah, so here's the good news for SpaceX is they're going to land on the moon earlier than expected. The bad news is that it is a crash landing.
Okay, they'll be crashing on the moon. I was thinking maybe would be the answer. Dan Riskin for This Week in Science. It's a great pleasure to have you on the show.
Thanks for having me.
I'm David Cooper.
A lakeside home is closer than you think. Presti's newest luxury waterfront project is just minutes from downtown, and our model home is ready for viewing. Royal K Homes along Lac St. Louis and Dorval are unlike any other properties available in Montreal. Nestled in McConnell Woods with waterfront access with your own private docks. Timeless, modern dream homes on the most exquisite properties. Book a visit today at presti.ca.
Hi, I'm Max Betretti. Come see for yourselves why I chose Presti to build my home. Visit presti.ca for more details.
Celebrate the new year by refurnishing your home during the winter sale. On now at Design Louis George. Right now, and for a limited time, save on dining room, bedroom, and living room furniture, on accessories, lighting, and luxurious sheets and towels. Top quality at top savings. The winter sale at Design Louis George. On now. Visit their big, bright boutique in TMR at 4360 Chemin de la Côte de Liesse, east of DeCary. Free parking. DesignLouisGeorge.com. JJ Cardinal Funeral Home is proudly family-owned and operated, having been in service to the community for over 50 years, helping families and loved ones navigate some of life's most difficult moments. They offer pre-planning services, comfortable and spacious visitation and reception rooms, cremation on site, as well as a unique columbarium that is integrated in their breathtaking chapels. JJ Cardinal Funeral Home. Let their family serve your family with understanding, compassion, and integrity. Call 514-631-1511 or visit jjcardinal.ca.
When you're drinking, don't let anyone's cup runneth over. Learn to pour exactly the right amount. No more, no less, with the standard drink server. At the Edzuc Alcohol website, moderation is always in good taste.
What's the best way to enjoy an evening without drinking too much? Alternate cocktails with mocktails. Choose from over 150 recipes brought to you by Altern Alcohol at the Ithaca website. Moderation is always good taste.
This past year has been challenging, with many of us facing unexpected expenses, lost wages, and rising credit card debt. We all need a little help from time to time, but it can be hard to ask for help when it comes to your finances. But guess what? You're not alone. Millions of Canadians share that feeling with you. Half a million Canadians have found help with their debt, and so can you. With Consolidated Credit Counseling Services of Canada, they are one of the largest nonprofit credit counseling organizations in the country, with an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. They can help you consolidate your bills into one affordable payment, minimize your interest rates, and get you out of debt fast. No matter how much you owe, you don't need to do this alone. To get help, call 1-800-288-4991. That's 1-800-288-4991. Let Consolidated Credit get you back to a debt-free life. Call 1-800-288-4991. Make the call today, toll free at 1-800-288-4991. Ontario license number 4705786.
Hello, I'm Richard LaPointe of CIBC Wood Gundy. How many times have you heard that we're living through uncertain times? Well, we are. And that uncertainty translates into what we call market volatility. And how that affects your investments can be stressful. I'm not worried about it, and I don't want you to be either. Things don't always make sense in the market, so align yourself with someone who can help clear it up and set you on the right financial path. I'm Richard LaPointe, and I can always be reached at 514-847-6324.
CIBC Wood Gundy is a division of CIBC World Markets Inc., member of CIPF and IROC.
Questions? Hockey or basketball? Football or baseball? On Sony or Samsung? OLED, QLED, 4K or 8K? Here's a reminder that whether you choose 32 inches or 98 inches, the beauty of the screen size is in the eye of the beholder. There is no shortage of choice nor sound advice at the best price and answers to any other questions you might have for the experts at Environnement Electronique at 4914 Sherbrooke in Westmount.
So many Quebecers suffer from back pain, which, when left untreated, can result in a loss of quality of life. The Quebec Chiropractors Association invites you to learn more. Visit chiropractic.com for more information about the practice. You can find tips and advice for daily activities and where you can find the chiropractor closest to you. Be well informed, prevent injuries, live your life to the fullest. Pain changes everything. Chiropractic care changes pain.
This Bell Media station believes in being accountable to you, the listener, which is why we participate in the Canadian Broadcast Standards Council.
We are committed to upholding the highest standards of broadcast excellence and adhering to the codes of conduct administered by the CBSC. If you have a concern about something you heard on our station, contact us or the CBSC at Post Office Box 3265, Station D, Ottawa, Ontario, K1P 6H8, or visit the CBSC's website, cbsc.ca. Hi, it's John Moore. I love to have you join us for the morning show every day from 5 to 9. But maybe you're busy and you need the Coles Notes version. Introducing the Breakfast Wrap, a capsule edition of More in the Morning, with weather and the day's biggest stories. Set your mobile device to automatically download it, and we'll make sure you never miss a thing.
That's very smart of you. Setting alarms. Don't forget to subscribe and get the latest episodes from wherever you get your podcasts. And listen weekday mornings from 5 to 9.
Oh, yeah?
Continues with special guest host David Cooper on the iHeartRadio Talk Network.
Without further ado, here we are. I'm David Cooper. You're listening to the showgram. That's right, the man with the theme song, none other than our foreign correspondent, Tony Five, who joins us this time of night, every night. Tony Five, welcome live from London, England. You are, I said that twice, and I realize that now. You're here.
Good morning, David. Good morning, Canada. Good morning, world. Well done for squeezing in that extra content, David.
Extra content, hashtag extra content. You know, Tony, for those just tuning in, I wrote a fantastic joke tonight, and I've only told the same joke on the show about 14 times. Are you ready to hear it, Tony?
Of course, because I never listen to shows before I come on.
You're not the first person to say long-time contributor, first-time listener tonight. All right, my girlfriend, she recommended her dentist to me. She went to the dentist today. She said you would love them. And there's a TV in the office. You can watch and stream anything while they work on your teeth. To which I responded, Netflix and drill. Yep, there it is. I had it. Tony, what do you think?
Carry on, David.
All right, we will be saying that joke no less than 45 times. Tony, we have content live from the UK. We have content. Boris Johnson has gotten a Partygate report after lockdown breaching bashes. Do you know what's in the report, Tony?
Apparently, yes. So he and his friends did something that I guess you have done many times. They went gefilte fishing.
They did. That's the official British term for going to a garden party when you're trying to lead a country under lockdown.
Oh.
Correct, yes. And whilst everybody died, he was playing party games.
Lawn bowling, perhaps.
Apparently so, yeah. He was doing it indoors.
He was lawn bowling indoors. Okay, next British story. So what do we think about? Wait, first with this story, what do we think about Boris Yeltsin? Should he be resigned? Should he be impeached?
Yeah, I think when he's going to bring down the fall of the Eastern Bloc, it's going to be very difficult for him. He's going to probably get a haircut on the Western side and then throw away the hair clippings on the Eastern side.
Tear down this wall, Mr. Gorbachev, Yeltsin, Borisstein. Okay, second British story. I got great headlines, great content tonight. The typical British person makes 5 excuses a day to get out of doing things, with I'm too tired being the most common. Tony, what did you tell me before you came on the show today?
I said I'm too tired.
63% of British people admit they tend to find other, more important things to do than the plans they make.
I mean, that 32% that said that, it makes interesting reading, actually, because the remaining 44%, it just, yeah, we're all very tired.
All right, well, that's our segment on British politics. We did great. Oh, no, wait, what's the Queen doing, Tony? We need a regal update about Elizabeth.
David, you nearly missed the most important part of the show that no one listens to. So, the Queen has taken up another hobby, David.
Oh, my goodness. Could it be fighter jet piloting?
Nearly. She did that last week. This week, she's taken up ice hockey.
Ice hockey, wow. She's celebrating her Canadian crown dependence. Crown monarch crown something, or crown something.
That's right. She's playing the position of quarterback, and she's doing really well in that position. She's ready to go, mounted up, and her racket is awesome. It's gilded, it's gold, and made out of slaves.
And how is her backhand?
Fantastic, David. Well played for avoiding that lovely comment. But yeah, her backhand's good. She takes a massive swing, and apparently it's a 400-yarder, or a birdie, as they call it in the game.
Okay, well, that's our Regal update. All right, last night we stumbled upon something, and I realized that you are an amateur dream analyst. So I thought anyone could call in with any dreams and have Tony 5 tell you why you had that dream. He is a Freudian analyst. He puts the anal in analyst. Is that right, Tony?
Correct. I wear Freudian slippers around the house. And unbelievably, yeah, I'm an amateur dramatist. So yeah, I learned the interpretation of the dream when I was working at the United Nations.
Wow. He's an amateur dramatist. He can analyze your dream. Our number, if you have a dream you would like told or explained to you, the number is 1-855-633-1010. That is 1-855-633-1010. Or text in your dreams. I will have Tony analyze them from the text board. The number 71010. Tony, last night at 7 in the morning, I was just drifting off. I got to bed a little bit late after the show. Okay, it's a late show. I got to bed pretty late. And I was just falling asleep, and my girlfriend sat up, and she was looking at me, and I woke up, and I screamed, "What are you doing?" at the top of my lungs. And then she jumped, and then my cat jumped, and then it scratched her and ran away. What does it all mean?
So that's a really interesting one. I find it fascinating that you have a girlfriend and a cat.
Just in the dream.
Exactly. So in the dream, the cat represents your mother's father.
Wow, my mother's father, Julio. He was from Brazil, but he anglicized the name Julio, not Julio.
Okay, so what Julio is trying to tell you in this dream is that cats are not real. They're not real. They're a figment of your imagination, and figment is short for figs.
Wow.
That's what, which means that you need more fruit in your diet, David, to help you with your toilet habits.
Wow, okay, so I'll be more regular, or do I want to be more irregular in the regularity department?
So at the moment, you're very regular, like the Canadian boat routes that go through Toronto.
Sorry.
What I think you should do
Those are just fine.
take a step back from it and look at the holistic way that this dream put into it. You being in the bed and the cat attacking your girlfriend means that you should no longer attack your girlfriend in a cat mask.
Wow, okay, I have been doing that a lot, so I should probably tone that down.
Yeah, step it back, David, and yeah, after that, you
I'm going
just
to
move
have a
forward. Move forward. Once the dream's been interpreted, what happens is that you release. You have a sense of release, like you do in the toilet, David. Again, it's the circle of life.
Wow, the circle of life. My goodness, the circle of life. Okay, so that's what the dream means. Tony, have you had any dreams that you can self-analyze?
Yeah, so I had a dream I was sat on a wall, and I looked around, and there was a number of king's horses and a number of king's men.
King's men, wow, okay, this must mean something. And so you were sat up on that wall, and then the king's horses and king's men, they were there.
Yeah, all of them.
All of them. Wow, that's so many horsemen and horse people, really.
Yeah, there's definitely an LGBTQH movement for all the king's horses and all the king's men.
Got it. Yeah, okay.
And I dropped something, but they couldn't put it together again.
Wow, what is it all mean?
No idea. Earlier on in the day, I was reading a book of nursery rhymes.
Unrelated, I'm sure.
Completely unrelated, David, because the psyche, David, is very difficult to interpret, but I'm trained.
All right, well, if you want your dreams analyzed, give us a call. We're going to go to break. The number 1-855-633-1010. That's 1-855-633-1010. If we don't get any callers, Tony, our topic from earlier in the show, in case you didn't hear, was scammed. I want to hear about times you were scammed, Tony. For example, were you ever scammed by a dream analyst on a radio show? That'd be an example. I mean, it's nothing to do with what's going on the show right now, but that could be an example.
Never, but I will tell you a story of when I was scammed at a university buying a laptop, David, after the break.
Wow, look at this. Great content coming up after the break. Scams and dreams. 1-855-633-1010. It's our dramatist. All right, I'm David Cooper. We'll be back with more Tony 5 after this.
Have you ever encountered sales pressure?
This is Bridget Federer of Keenan Federley Funeral Home. At Keenan Federley, our funeral counselors give you the freedom to make decisions without pressure tactics. You will only encounter helpful staff truly sensitive to the needs of your family, staff that has been part of our family for many years.
Keenan Federley, recipient of the Consumer Choice Award for 2021 and 2022. For information, call 514-481-5301 or visit KaneFederley.com.
Do it once, do it right with CM Textiles, your one-stop shop for fashion fabrics, custom lines, draperies, and upholstery fabrics for all your residential and commercial needs. Specialists in motorization with remote wireless technology, so you can sit back and control your window dressings from anywhere. Check out their dynamic full winter collection. Currently 30% off fabrics for drapes, design, home decor, and haute couture. 4 showrooms to serve you. Online at cmtextiles.com and on Instagram at cmtextiles.
I'm Michael Zagari, investment advisor with Mandeville by the Client. One of the largest ride-sharing companies owns no vehicles. The world's largest content provider owns no content. And the world's largest accommodation provider owns no real estate. This level of innovation requires a guide, someone who can advise you and personalize your investment strategy. To learn more, visit followmichael.ca. That's followmichael.ca.
Mandeville Private Client Inc. is a member of the Investment Industry Regulatory Organization of Canada and a member of the Canadian Investor Protection Fund.
Hey there, it's Simon Talikis from Royal LePage Classic, and I'm asking you to keep doing what you've been doing and call me first. Got a call to sell a condo on 19th Avenue in Lachine, and I did in days at 99% of
Yeah, like
asking.
what,
Charles had a bungalow
2019?
doorbell,
You're
Judith
fucking,
and Mark had a home in
all those people are
Beaconsfield,
still waiting,
and we sold them
because
both
guess what?
within a
It's not
week
built yet.
at above asking. So call me first to sell your property or to get into the home of your dreams. Simon Talikis, Royal LePage Classic, 450-687-4430.
A lakeside home is closer than you think. Presti's newest luxury waterfront project is just minutes from downtown, and our model home is ready for viewing. Royal K Homes along Lac St. Louis and Dorval are unlike any other properties available in Montreal. Nestled in McConnell Woods with waterfront access with your own private docks. Timeless, modern dream homes on the most exquisite properties. Book a visit today at presti.ca.
Hi, I'm Max Batretti. Come see for yourselves why I chose Presti to build my home. Visit presti.ca for more details.
Hi, Don here for ResAV. In the past, people had to travel for business meetings to keep their companies going and growing. Well, not anymore. Let ResAV show you how to set up cost-efficient and easy-to-use automated video conferencing solutions. Whether it's for a big boardroom, a small collab, or office space, ResAV has the expertise to help your company and save you money. For more information and a free evaluation, call us 514-439-3901. We're ResAV. And best of all, we come to you.
There is a light that surrounds and protects, that guides and reassures, that watches over us, that always remembers and always shines bright. The lighthouse brightens the lives of seriously ill children and their families. My name is Johan, and the lighthouse has been helping to light the way for our family since my son Manuel was 4 years old. Donate generously at IamTheLight.ca.
Hi, I'm Richard Point of CIBC Wood Gundy, and when I say I can always be reached, I'm not just selling you a line. My clients know that when they dial the phone, I answer the call. It's important, especially during times of uncertainty like right now, that you have immediate answers about your money from the team that takes care of it for you. I'm Richard Point, and I can always be reached at 514-847-6324.
CIBC Wood Gundy is a division of CIBC World Markets Inc., member of CIPF and IROC.
Gentlemen, are we having trouble in the bedroom? It can be hard, so to speak, to talk about intimacy issues, or maybe it's not hard, as it were. If you feel like it's all happening too fast, consider a visit to Elness Sexual Wellness. Talk about it with your partner. That's the most important part. And then book a consultation at elnesssexualwellness.com. Even if it's medical treatments, help is available. Always with respect and discretion. Take a break from your usual online activity and visit elnesssexualwellness.com.
CTV, Sunday, February 13th. Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre, Mary J. Blige, Lamar, and Eminem in a super Super Bowl halftime event. Let the show begin. That will make history. Super Bowl 56, Sunday, February 13th, only on CTV.
No one likes what-if questions. Like, what if a loved one can no longer live alone? Chateau Dollard has the answers. The finest care, devoted staff, all in a cozy West Island setting for 30 years. Call 514-685-4444 or visit chateaudollard.com. To make a donation, visit haventoronto.ca.
It is Leanne Phillipson, registered nutritionist and host of the Eat This with Leanne podcast, staying on the Be Intentional train. Chugga chugga. I got a new passenger this week.
Just one Leanne is not enough. We've got my daughter on this week, vulnerably sharing honestly her journey of mental health and how she manages to be intentional to keep herself safe and her mental health in check.
Download the latest Eat This with Leanne podcast, available now at newstalk1010.com, your iHeartRadio app, or wherever you get your podcasts. This is the iHeartRadio Talk Network. Tonight with special guest host, David Cooper.
All right, we're back. I'm David Cooper. We are joined by Tony Five, our foreign correspondent, live from London, England. We are reading your dreams, but you want to go ahead and text in your dreams. We're not taking calls right now, so text us your dreams at 71010, and Tony will provide a Freudian dream analysis. He's a dramatist. We have a text from someone in Ontario, Toronto, in the beautiful province of Toronto, in the city of Ontario. Last night I had a dream that I was downtown, but I didn't have any way to come back home. I didn't have my wallet or my phone. I had to walk home. Tony, what do you make of this one?
I believe that person should have got a travel card.
Oh, yeah. That's it.
And if she was downtown, what it means is that she's not providing the service that she should have paid for.
Oh, which is what?
Which is walking.
Yeah, she paid for walking. So,
You know, and the dream, it's the dream sequence of getting stuck downtown. I believe that relates to a radio show going off the rails and having multiple technical difficulties.
It could be related to that. All right, that concludes our dream analysis segment. Tony, our topic from earlier in the show was being scammed. You know when a prince from a foreign nation emails you and says, "Hey, I've got $100 million for you. All you have to do is wire me £1,000." See how I translated dollars to pounds there for you, Tony?
Well, let me tell you, David, only this morning I transferred 4 Bitcoin, and you wouldn't believe who contacted me. He was the king of Nigeria.
Wow, look at you. You're in the presence of a king. But have you ever been the victim of a serious scam?
Yeah, so when I was at uni, there was a supermarket, or as you like to call it, Walmart, and a couple of us guys were in the uni, and we had gone down to the car park, and I don't know what you call them there, travelers, carnies, gypsies, I don't know what you call those people, but anyway, there was a group of these guys, and they pulled up to me and a friend and another guy, and said they were selling a laptop that they'd just stolen from a computer store.
Okay, lovely. A reputable gentleman selling their wares. Yes.
And the friend, and I kept telling this guy, look, don't buy it. These guys are scammers, and they were like, they were getting irate with me. Anyway, so this was £1,000 Sony laptop that these guys had stolen. Kindly stolen, and they were offering it £1,000. They were offering it for like £200, which just happens to be the maximum amount you can withdraw from a cash point at the time. Really novel, right? So anyway, cut long story short, and I'll make this longer. They ended up saying, okay, you can buy this laptop off us. You can even call the store and check this model number against, and see it's the top spec. So the guy calls up a local store, and it is top spec. They show him the laptop, they open it up, and this laptop's working. Anyway, because obviously it's stolen goods, the guy goes to the machine, gets his $200 out, or you're just watching all of this. I'm just standing there watching it, just saying, look, I don't think you should do it, but it's your money, it's your life. If you want to do it, you can do it, right?
Yeah.
He hands over the money. Literally, as he hands over the money, the guys look around and think, okay, there's someone watching, the police is watching. They turn around, put the laptop behind them. They say, okay, don't worry. Pull the laptop back out, gave the guy, and said, look, just don't let anybody see it. Just take it and run. So, and these guys just go off, right? So now they've got this bag, this heavyweight bag. They run home. Me and my friends, we get back to mine. We open it up, and it's 2 full water bottles.
Oh, so they did a real sleight of hand switcheroo.
Fantastic. So there was a kid in the back, and they literally swapped out the bag for 2, it's exactly the same bag, with 2 full 1 litre bottles of water in it. And then when you realise the scam is quite beautiful, really, because the person who bought it has willingly bought stolen goods.
Like they knew, you know. So even these robbers, they can't feel that bad because the person knew what they were getting into. They knew it was stolen. Yeah.
And the kid who got scammed, he can't really go to the police and say, well, I bought
Stolen
job. Correct. Like, because they didn't. That laptop was probably completely legitimate, and they've got the receipt, and they did genuinely buy that.
Okay, well that's the scam. And your friend, what did they think about afterward?
I mean, they were really thirsty, and they never drank water again, and they died.
They died of thirst, and that's how that played out. That's you know what? In terms of scams, this one doesn't offend me because it's lose-lose. The person being scammed knew what they were doing, and they lost. And the scammers, well, they didn't scam a person without guilt, so it's win-win. Lose-lose, lose-lose.
Yeah, it is. And I remember now vividly that this guy was running down the street with this backpack on his back, thinking that he'd have the amazing Sony laptop, and actually he was carrying 2 bottles of Evian.
Delicious. Were they fresh bottles or recently refilled? Was it recycled Evian?
I'll be honest with you, I told him not to drink it just in case.
Okay.
And it was a Pentium 4 bottle of Evian.
A Pentium 4 Evian.
And it definitely had Windows 2 in it. So, you know, everyone's a winner, David.
Everyone is. I had a friend who got scammed by movers, and this was apparently happening a lot in Toronto at the time, but he found cheapest possible movers on Craigslist without a website, with really sketchy, and he did the job, but when they went to his house to drop off the stuff, they said, you've got to give us $1,000 more, or not unloading your stuff. My friend calls me, he's like, David, do you have $1,000? I'm like, dude, I can withdraw $1,000 for you, but call the cops, because he thought these guys were legit. He felt bad for them, and so he calls me. He's like, "Can you please come here? They're holding my stuff ransom, and I can't leave because it's just me, and I don't trust them. And I'll pay you back. We'll go right to the bank right away. You go to the bank, get the money, and then we'll go to the bank. I'll get you the money back." And I knew he was good for it, and so I did it. And then I said, "But just call the cops." He's like, "They're not gonna come." I'm like, "Just call them." So he calls the cops. They obviously don't come.
Well, they did it with stuff like murders and rapes. I mean, I can't believe they couldn't drop the murder and rape.
They ended up coming about an hour after the whole incident went down. But then I'm like, just get the courage to tell them that you know that you're being scammed, and that you called the cops. And so when I got there, I just saw these guys throwing their stuff off the truck. I guess was nice. They didn't get off with the stuff. But my friend ended up getting the courage to say, I know you stole this stuff. I called the cops, and they're on their way. And these guys they didn't ask for any money or anything. They just started throwing all these goods on the ground. They broke a bunch of stuff. No, that was a scam that I observed. Yeah.
And did they try and fight you, or just shout at him?
No, they just when I got there, they weren't talking. They just were as quickly as possible throwing stuff on the ground, and then they got out of there.
Wow. And these were American guys?
No, it was in Toronto. These were Canadian guys.
Oh, same difference. Okay. Wow.
I'm sure everyone in Canada would love to hear you say that. All right, Tony 5, thank you so much for being here. You'll be back tomorrow night. We had a great time analyzing your dreams, talking about scams. Tony, what a great pleasure.
Thank you very much, David. Have a wonderful night.
Will do. I'm David Cooper. We'll be back with Tony Tedesco and a game after this. Bell makes the internet better.
Did you know the cheetah is the fastest mammal on Earth?
Well, did you know Bell Pure Fiber Internet is the fastest internet technology?
Well, did you know the fastest person ran 100 meters in 9.58 seconds?
Well, did you know Bell Pure Fiber Internet has total download speeds of up to 1.5 gigabits per second?
You just switched to Bell, didn't you?
Yep. Want to come over Friday?
Definitely.
Switch to Pure Fiber Internet, the fastest internet technology, connecting more homes every day. Call 310 Bell or visit a Bell store to check availability. Bell, being online just got better.
Okay, bedtime. Close your eyes, drift away to a beach. You could definitely definitely live at the beach. Wait, can you? Is there enough near TFSA for a beach house? Stop that. I'm on a beach. I'm on a beach.
Canadians lose a lot of sleep over money, so we created Sleep Advisor by Scotia Advice Plus. Investment tools to help you sleep better. Call 1-833-SLEEEEP to learn more. Scotia Bank. You're richer than you think.
You're listening to the Voice of Montreal News Talk Radio, CJAD 800, an iHeart radio station. Good morning, it's 3 o'clock. I'm James Foster with your CTV News updates. We've got lots of sunshine today. It is going to be an absolutely gorgeous day as we kick off the month of February. It is minus 16 degrees downtown. Your weather details are in moments. Here's what is making news. Montreal police have been very busy overnight following an evening of violence in Montreal with 3 incidents, all within about an hour's time of each other. First taking place, police responded to a drive-by shooting at around 8:15 on Jean-Mance near Pont-Royal in the Olympic Cartierville borough. According to witnesses, the vehicle drove up beside another parked car and opened fire, then sped off. The 37-year-old man in the original car was not hurt. He was treated for shock, though. About 45 minutes later, police were called to Anjou on Emily-de-Go, where a 39-year-old man was stabbed in the upper body during what was supposed to be a meetup for an online sale. The victim was meeting up with a supposed buyer when witnesses say he was attacked by 2 men in their 20s who were waiting for him. The suspects fled. Victim was taken to hospital and is expected to be okay. Finally, this barely 30 minutes after the second incident, officers were called to a halt on La Baptiste Street in Mercier-Hochelaga-Maisonneuve after 2 vehicles opened fire on a home and then sped off. Not long after that, one of the suspect vehicles was found abandoned on a street corner in Anjou. Firearm was found inside. No arrests have been made in any of the cases. Restaurants have the chance to open their dining rooms once again. Owners, though, say not quite enough. With 50% capacity and a lack of staff and not as much business as they'd hoped, owners say that there's a very small chance of actually turning a profit. Nothing is known. In fact, Restaurant Association says that around 17% of restaurants are not reopening because of closures, and it's likely just getting worse.
It is a big number, and this number will increase in a few months when the financial aid package will stop. That's when we will have the portrait of the situation, the portrait of the industry.
And as the province eased back on many of its restrictions yesterday, spas were not included to their dismay. There's no clear sign as to when they'll be allowed to reopen, even though Quebec Spa Association says many businesses have lost more than $200,000 since they were closed down in December. Geneviève Imalt of Boda Spa says that their key aspects are shut down needlessly.
At the moment, we're open only for treatment, massage, the aesthetics, but that represents less than 8% of our normal capacity. But what drives people to Bata and all other Nordic spas in Quebec is basically the water circuit.
And from your Dorbeck Weather Center today, lots of sunshine, a high, eventually hitting -2. It's going to be an absolutely gorgeous day today. +2, maybe some rain on Wednesday, snow for Thursday, Friday. It's -16 downtown. Your next CTV News update is at 4 o'clock.
5 for a game of trivia. Tony 5, you're so glad we're doing trivia right now.
I am indeed a black one, as Laura does making call.
All right, he happens to be black, and I'm Jewish.
Just slightly tanned, baby.
Slightly tanned, and I'm Jewish. Slightly Jewish. Okay, so we're going to go back and forth, read each other questions, keep score, and decide at the end who is the trivia winner. Sound easy? Probably not.
Yeah, I'm ready to go, David.
All right, question number 1, Tony. In the span of 3 months, the popular word game blank went from a personal gift to a viral sensation, and now everyone wants in, including the New York Times.
Wordle.
Oh, he got it. Wait for it. That sounded good.
You've got a soundboard.
I've got a soundboard, and of course, crickets. Okay, what else we got? Laughter. Okay, and sad trombone. Okay.
Oh, sad trombone. Real like playing. That's
real cheese. It's a rusty trombone. real easy. Like, all right, my question now.
Right. Question 4. Which new technology that can... David, don't interrupt the question, Master. I've started, so I'll finish. Which new technology that conspiracy theorists incorrectly believe is a COVID vaccine may cause disruptions to nearby airline flights?
5G technology.
Fantastic, David. Congratulations. You're a winner.
I'm a winner at the game of trivia. 1-1 we are. Number 2, what video game did Sony buy today?
What?
Oh, is it Doom? Bungie.
Bungie.
Never heard of that. Okay, carry on.
You're supposed to go now.
That's okay.
Oh, right.
4 detainees are suing an Arkansas jail because it gave them which COVID treatment?
Oh boy, bleach.
No, it's actually a horse dewormer as well. I know, David, you've got an encyclopedic knowledge of horse deworming.
I'm
Must be one of them. Any of them. Yeah, very close. No, not that one. Any others?
First letter?
I.
Ivermectin.
Yeah, again, I thought that was a former Russian dictator, but you're correct, sir.
No, I got it wrong. Okay.
Oh, it's Ivermectin.
I know, but I didn't get it right. You gave me a hint. It doesn't count. Zara Rutherford, 19, made news when she became the youngest woman to
Her last name?
Star in a porn film.
fly around the world solo. Close, but no cigar, Tony. What's
I believe that was Amelia Lockhart, David.
Yes, well, youngest one.
Yeah, okay. I thought she was like 10 when she flew around. No,
She was the first.
Okay. Which company is buying the video game maker Activision Blizzard for nearly $70 billion US, which is about 32 million UK pounds or 4 rubles?
That is correct. Could it be Apple?
Microsoft, David, you went for the big one and you missed out. Considering you live in New York, you shouldn't have gone for the big Apple.
So true. To rid the city of Sunnyvale, California of 1,000 crows that have overwhelmed the downtown area, officials are planning to do what?
Build a 100-foot scarecrow.
Close. They're shooting a laser at them, Tony. L-A-Z-E-R.
Wow, the incorrect spelling of laser.
Yes.
Fantastic. Who risks losing its government position as part of a controversy known as the pork pie plot?
Pork pie plot? Boris Yeltsin?
It is indeed Mikhail Gorbachev, third.
Is it Boris from Johnson?
It is indeed.
Very good. Okay, I forget. I got losing count here. I think I got
7, you've got 2.
Okay, I've got 143 and you've got 8. Over the past 2 years, Bob Dylan, Bruce Springsteen, Paul Simon, Tina Turner, and others have all done what for eye-popping prices?
Died.
That's correct. Bruce Springsteen took the money and died, and so did Bob Dylan. No, they've sold their catalog, Tony.
What catalog? Did they have a nice catalog?
It was a American car catalog. No, it was their music catalog.
Interesting. Okay. What dangerous, and by interesting I mean not interesting at all, what dangerous ice formation should you watch out for at a beach?
Oh, ice volcanoes. We covered that on the show.
You cheater, compulsive eater.
Is that? You just made that up.
No, it's the real thing.
Pumpkin eater. Cheater, pumpkin eater.
Oh no, it's cheater, compulsive eater. We do not believe in eating disorders here in the UK. Carry on.
A 57-year-old man with a life-threatening heart disease has received a heart from a pig with the help of what drug?
Viagra.
Okay. Right. Also covered that on the show.
What?
What hot button college issue will the Supreme Court reconsider next year in the form of 2 high-profile cases?
Hot button college issue. The Electoral College?
David, again, you didn't go to the topic that we speak about more often than not. It's affirmative action. So that is when you push a button affirmatively.
Okay, you take action affirmatively. An underwater volcano erupted on January the 15th near the remote Pacific nation of blank, triggering tsunami warnings across the Pacific and west coast of the U.S., causing strong waves and currents to many coastal areas. Which France? Close. Tonga. So close.
Neither. Tonga. I met a girlfriend who used to only wear Tongas.
Oh, look at that. A girlfriend who only wore Tongas. Okay, what's next for me?
An errant piece of a SpaceX rocket is expected to leave a 65-foot, which is 3-meter wide crater when it crashes into what, David?
The moon.
Again, we don't believe in the moon. Carry on.
Moon denier. Multiple choice. The soundtrack of Encanto,
Really?
a new Disney film, has reached #1 on the Billboard charts, displacing what artist after a 6-week run at the top? Adele, Morgan Wallen, Olivia Rodrigo, or Taylor Swift?
Lionel Richie, David.
You nailed it in the sense that it was Adele. Go ahead, your turn.
What team from a neighboring state defeated Alabama to win college football national championship?
Oh, was it Madagascar State?
Georgia.
Lovely. Nailed it. Okay.
Nagawa, an African giant poached rat, died after a distinguished career in Cambodia in detecting what with his nose?
Oh, Ebola?
Landmines, David, very close.
You did too. Novak Djokovic, the world's #1 ranked tennis player, was detained on January 5th by Australian authorities for what reasons?
I know him personally. He allegedly misinformed the Australian government about his COVID vaccine.
Correct. You got one. Okay, I'm going to do a second one. You did 2 in a row. 19 people were killed on January 9th in the deadliest fire in what city in more than 3 decades? I remember.
Atlantis.
Close. New York City. All right, give me one.
Okay, which classic MTV show is coming back for its 4th film this year?
Which classic MTV show is coming back for its 4th film this year? MTV, the movie, Part 4, Version 4, the 4th, now streaming on mtvstudios.com.uk.
Correct, Jackal.
Go ahead.
What's your one now?
I just yeah. You're right. You're dead right. Which actor died January 6th on the age of 94? He was the first black performer to win the Best Actor category. Who was he?
Robert De Niro.
Close. Sidney Poitier.
Speaking of dead celebrities, Betty White, a television star with career spanned 7 decades, won Emmys for 3 shows. Name 2 of those shows.
Golden Girls.
Correct.
And Golden Girls.
Correct. Golden Girls, which was one of them, and Golden Girls, which was the second one when they all died. Fantastic, David. Well done.
Really killing it with this trivia here. Which pop star revealed that she is pregnant today?
Betty White.
It was Betty White, from the grave, pregnant with Rihanna's baby.
Oh, what was the last Disney song to hit #2 on the charts?
Oh, Disney the Musical, #2 on the charts.com.uk.
Correct, yeah. Written by former Bill Cosby. So no fact.
Fantastic.
Who is the father of Rihanna's new baby?
Betty White.
David, I don't know how you know these things. Your Betty White encyclopedic knowledge is fantastic.
Yes. All right. Which country commemorated the 50th anniversary of Bloody Sunday when British troops opened fire on protesters, leading to decades of unrest and unavailable 4-leaf clovers for the masses?
Beijing.
That is correct. Beijing, Northern Ireland.
How many of Justin Trudeau's kids have got COVID?
1.
2.
Oh, that was 1.
I thought you only had 1 child.
What do you mean?
Carry on.
In which city did a bridge collapse before just In which city did a bridge collapse just hours before Joe Biden, the Prime Minister of what country, visited?
David, this is a very easy one. Germany.
But what was the city he visited when the bridge collapsed?
CBC cameras caught up with
Close, Pittsburgh. All right, what's next?
Begins with D. I'll take that here. Elizabeth Holmes, the founder of a Silicon Valley startup, was found guilty of fraud. What does she say her company's products would do?
Blood test. Blood test.
Checking
last fall. Ontario's
Correct.
COVID.
Very close. Detect a variety of ailments with just a few drops of blood.
That's what I said.
Okay, I'll take that then. Okay.
Actor Howard Hessman, best known for what show, died at 81 yesterday or 2 days ago?
Long Don Silver.
Close. WKRP in Cincinnati. All right, last one. Quickly.
Ready. Which team from a neighboring state plays football? 100%, David. THG. Well done, David. Congratulations.
Up next, we'll find out about why there's an orange shortage, orange juice shortage from a reporter from the Washington Post, Laura Riley. Tony 5, thanks for your trivia for us, with us, for us, by us, all of those things. Always here for the content. Always here for the content. I'm David Cooper. We'll be back with more of whatever the show is after this.
Anytime news breaks, CJAD 800 has it.
Prime Minister Justin Trudeau tweeted that he has tested positive for COVID. He is feeling fine and will continue to work remotely.
On the air, on Twitter, email to your inbox. Up to the minute.
People working in.
Radio, CJAD
Oh, right.
800.
This investment advisor with Mandeville Private Clients. One of the largest ride-sharing companies owns no vehicles. The world's largest content provider owns no content. And the world's largest accommodation provider owns no real estate. This level of innovation requires a guide, someone who can advise you and personalize your investment strategy. To learn more, visit followmichael.ca. That's followmichael.ca.
Mandeville Private Client Inc. is a member of the Investment Industry Regulatory Organization of Canada and a member of the Canadian Investor Protection Fund.
Celebrate the new year by
Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. We have an amazing show for everybody today.
Right now, and for a limited time, save on dining room, bedroom, and living room furniture, on accessories, lighting, and luxurious sheets and towels. Top quality at top savings. The winter sale at Design Louis George.
We have an update on a story that we first brought you last week of the Air Force's F-35 CS that crashed into the South China Sea. Now it appears that the search for the warplane is finally underway. That's while North Korea just tested a long-range missile nearby. RT's Enrique Rivera has the story.
A recovery operation is now underway to retrieve an F-35C that crashed into the South China Sea 7 days ago. The F-35C Lightning II crashed into the South China Sea last week, but not before causing damage to the aircraft carrier, the USS Carl Vinson. The F-35's pilot evacuated before the crash and was not harmed, but 7 sailors on board the Carl Vinson were treated for injuries. Now that all service people appear to be safe, the question now is, when will the U.S. retrieve its most expensive, state-of-the-art weapon? The Beijing-based SCS Probing Initiative has reported that the recovery operation appears to be underway, as their satellites have spotted 4 CV-22 Ospreys heading to the crash site. The CV-22 Osprey is part helicopter, part warplane. It's used in covert operations, but it can also carry up to 10,000 pounds of cargo, which is why it's the perfect vehicle for this high-stakes salvage mission. The U.S. government has not commented on these new satellite images, nor on when the F-35 rescue operation will begin. But with a $100 million price tag, there's a great deal of interest in finding it. For RT, I'm Enrique Rivera.
So joining us now to discuss China, the U.S., and F-35s, we're joined by former Pentagon official Michael Maloof. Mike, great to see you. Hope you're staying warm here in this chilly D.C. area. Let's talk about this F-35. We've been reporting on this for a long time. Now they're finally underway. What's taking so long? I thought they're worried about China getting this.
Well, yeah, but they have to bring in a salvage ship. 4 Ospreys are not going to do it. And this they know where it is, and it's being probably surrounded by U.S. warships to protect the salvage area. But you're also talking about currents. You're talking about depth. That area, I haven't heard precisely where it's located, but it could be anywhere from 8,000 to 18,000 feet deep. And in doing that, in trying to get that aircraft, they would need a salvage vessel. And I recall years ago, I believe it was 1968, when the CIA did a secret operation and had to actually bring in a 600-foot salvage ship and looking for a Soviet submarine which had sunk. They found it, but it took weeks. It took weeks to get it out. You're going to have a similar problem with trying to extract this aircraft, and you have currents, and they will shift that. They could shift that aircraft around. So it's it's an expensive and very laborious effort, and you're going to also need side scan sonars to go down and pinpoint the location. Now I've heard reports, the Chinese will get their submarines and precisely locate it, but so what? How are they going to get it out if they wanted it? I mean, even the Chinese know it's too expensive to pull out.
Right. Now, my question for you, though, too, is this the USS Vincent, where this crash happened, the USS Vincent has seen 5 mishaps happen with these planes in the last 2 months. And that raises the question of, why is this happening? Is this pilot error? But then you think these are some of the best pilots in the world. Why are they having these mistakes? Is it, like I said, is it pilot error? Is it that they're testing these new things and it's machine error? Or what is it, do you think? But 5 mishaps at $100 million a piece, that's a lot of money.
Oh, sure. And it's similarly happened very recently on a British aircraft carrier and also Japanese. They lost an F-35. Man, so it's most probably mechanical. And I haven't heard any reports as to what the problem was in terms of this most recent crash. I have not heard any results of investigations as to why the pilot had to abandon the aircraft. So on the flight deck, I might add, he was slightly injured, by the way, according to reports I've seen. So it's and that's going to be a separate investigation. But the priority right now is to pull this thing out of the water and get it back, and that's going to be a major salvage operation.
And Michael, it's no surprise here that the United States makes a lot of money off of selling planes, fighter jets like the F-35. With 5 mishaps in the last 2 months. You've had, many people saying that there's still glitches. Even, our own John Jordan saying that, there's still glitches that shouldn't be there.
Oh, sure.
What does that say to everybody? I mean, it sounds like we're not making the best anymore.
Well, we piled so much technology into this aircraft, and that's why you had cost overruns. They wanted to add new arrays of technologies, and then it was back to the drawing board. They had to figure out how this and more advanced technologies would integrate into the systems that already are in the aircraft. And by the time you're done, if you're ever done, it all adds up, and they're always adding to this aircraft. You also got to consider they have variants of this aircraft, and so this is a type of thing that this was actually supposed to be built for the Navy, this F-35, and to land on carriers, and it can. It can.
A lot of growers to throw in the towel and say, I've done this, I'm not making any money. They've pivoted to other crops. They've sold their land for development. There's a lot of real estate deals going on right now in the state of Florida. So it's just winnowing of the acreage planted to oranges, and even on those acres that are there, a diminution in terms of the crop itself.
I'm thinking of the Golden Girls, of the fictional retirement facility, Shady Pines. I'm picturing all kinds of developments like that on former farmland, Laura.
Oh, absolutely. That's the deal, right? I mean, if a farmer basically takes a loss or just marginally gets by year after year recently, at a certain point he looks at his acreage and goes, my gosh, this could be condos. So we've seen just a lot of that in recent years. And this would all be completely fine and not noteworthy at all if this were 3 years ago or pre-pandemic, because orange juice sales worldwide, especially in the U.S., had really tanked pre-pandemic. And it was just that the pandemic prompted all of it. There was a lot of antioxidants and vitamin C and like we all knew that vitamin C is good for warding off a cold or a viral illness. And so vitamin C and juices, 100% fruit juices, have seen a huge spike in demand in the pandemic. So you have this, skyrocketing demand timed precisely with this real good.
Watch this when those humiliating scenes ever caught on tape.
Any kind of bailout or
What did it say, sorry? So it says, F your white nationalist agenda. I am not a white. This is nothing to do about white. This is nothing to do with truckers. This is about freedom for all of Canadians. You can be brown, black, white, blue, whatever color you want to be. This is about freedom. And Trudeau has no right to put us in this condition of mandates throughout the country. Trudeau does not going to school. It's a critical thing to do.
Thank God for Rebel News. It may be, you think Fox is an anomaly in the United States. I'd like to be Rebel News. Literally the only people in all of Canada who are playing it straight. So there they are trying to tell you that some guy from the subcontinent is a white nationalist. They're trying hard. And now they have evidence. It's brought to you by CNN, naturally working in tandem with the CBC. Apparently, brace yourself, there was a Trump sign in the crowd of truckers.
Fire or floods or whatever this year. So the disaster insurance for farmers has been utilized very widely from, California drought to Colorado to, so
Zero sugar, zero calorie. Zevia, live your best.
In June of 1813, Lord Secord overheard the secret plans of the American soldiers in occupation.
If you raise your sword against Fitzgibbon, Upper Canada will be broken. How many men can we muster? 500 infantry, battery of artillery, my dragoons. Fitzgibbon can't manage more than 50 men, small band of natives. Not a serious resistance if you're equal to the enterprise. Pursue the advance 2 days hence.
Take me to Fitzgibbon. Lord Secord delivered her message to the Canadian troops. The Karawagi Mohawks forced the surrender of 500 Yankee soldiers, and the American invasion was stopped.
What? Oh, yeah.
By the mid-1700s, we surged toward our place as a nation. And while Americans are consumed by their war of independence, our latest generation of heroes, rebels, and entrepreneurs competes for the key to this land's prosperity. Our natural resources. It's an epic quest for treasure that paves the way for a new country. We are explorers, risk takers, and dreamers, fighting the odds in a land of extremes. Across a vast continent, we build a nation. Truly strong and free. On the eastern edge of British North America, in what is now New Brunswick, 90% of this land is old-growth forest, some of the most valuable timber on Earth.
Look at this. No, watch this, Cam. Look at this. It's only a minute. This is Heritage Minutes.
In June of 1813, Lord Secord overheard the secret plans of the American soldiers in occupation.
If you raise your sword against Fitzgibbon, Upper Canada will be broken. How many men can we muster? 500 infantry, battery of artillery, my dragoons. Fitzgibbon can't manage more than 50 men, small band of natives. Not a serious resistance if you're equal to the enterprise.
That is what Quebec is doing right now.
Show the advance 2 days hence.
Take me to Fitzgibbon. The Mercy Corps delivered her message to the Canadian troops. The Kanawagi Mohawks forced the surrender of 500 Yankee soldiers, and the American invasion was stopped.
Yeah, nuts.
Told you Kanawagi was French before.
But not by choice. They forced them to
All
be.
I wanted was to see a movie.
Like, it's that or your children and your women die. Like, they already killed off most of their men. So it's like either group up with the fucking French. Yeah, but like
We weren't about to let our people die out. You can think it's weak.
That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to eradicate you guys. They're gonna be coming after you guys, I swear.
Nothing's changed. It's been like this forever.
All right.
These tremendously large trees.
It's not fucking right, man.
Super flexible and up to 50 meters tall. The Eastern White Pine is the perfect mast for the fastest warships on the planet. And the British will pay.
It's hard to improve on them. Val has done it. Their delicious new bagel bun and their eco-responsible bagels. Give them a try. Right now through Tuesday to Thursday, get a dozen plain sesame, poppy, or everything bagels for only $8.88. Just use the promo code AM800. They also have bagel burgers, sandwiches, healthy salads with vegan options, Danish, and coffee. Order online, in person, or through delivery apps. La Vie est Belle in Vaudreuil, Westmount, and Pointe-Claire. LVEDresto.ca.
This past year has been challenging, with many of us facing unexpected expenses, lost wages, and rising credit card debt. We all need a little help from time to time, but it can be hard to ask for help when it comes
Niagara Parks welcomes you to the Laura Secord Homestead. Built in 1803, this is where Laura was living during the War of 1812. And it's where she would have made her famous trek to warn the British about an impending American attack. She was a strong woman. She didn't need to make the walk. She could have passed it off to anybody else. She had 5 kids at home at the time, and her husband was recovering from 2 wounds from violence and ice. We're standing in the front hallway of Laura Secord's home. This is where she would have welcomed their guests. They would have come in through the front door right behind me, and they would have known the Secords had a little bit of money because the ceilings are quite high, and they had architectural features like the Black Mountains. We are standing in Laura's parlor. This is where she would have brought people in to entertain them and to hopefully impress them. Some of the natural features that we have at the house here are the fireplace that's behind her. It's original to the home. We sanded it down to replicate the original color that Laura had chosen as well. And the desk behind me on the opposite side is likely where James would have done his records for the general store. They ran that on the property just out front. That was destroyed during the battle. We're in everybody's favorite room, the kitchen, and this is where Laura would have been cooking along with her 5 brothers. Back then, bread was a big staple in everybody's diet. You'd be having it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Meat and cheese on top of that, and whatever the grill in your outside burn. The utensils that you would be using to cook can be seen behind you. It's all cast iron and very easy to handle, especially when you're trying to worry about safety in wearing dresses like this one. We're standing in the master bedroom. This is where Laura, her husband, and the youngest child would be sleeping.
Let their family serve your family with understanding, compassion, and integrity. Call 514-631-1511 or visit jjcarmel.ca.
This Bell Media station believes in being accountable to you, the listener, which is why we participate in the Canadian Broadcast Standards Council. We are committed to upholding the highest standards of broadcast excellence and adhering to the codes of conduct administered by the CBSC. If you have a concern about something you heard on our station, contact us or the CBSC at Post Office Box 3265, Station D,
1812. The United States of America, a fast rising power of 8 million, declares war on Britain and prepares to invade our colony. British Empire entrenched in the European Growth. We must fight for our homeland on our own. Fearless, ingenious, and for the first time, united. The War of 1812 is Canada's War of Independence. We are explorers, risk takers, and dreamers, fighting the odds, enemy of extremes. Across a vast continent, we build a nation. Truly strong and free. August 5th, 1812. While thousands of American troops amassed near the border of Upper Canada, 25 kilometers south of what is now Windsor, Ontario, warriors fled to ambush. Chief Tecumseh of the Shawnee Nation. Tecumseh has been fighting the Americans for 20 years as they tear through his ancestral homelands.
American settlement was insatiable. It was not going to stop. And so Tecumseh understood that there was no compromise with the Americans on these things.
Tecumseh has marshaled 13 diverse indigenous nations to confront the American onslaught.
Our lives are in the hands of the Great Spirit. We are determined to defend our lands. And if it's His will, we wish to leave our borders open.
Tecumseh was forward-looking. He could lead people.
Any particular labels that you've come across that you put out yet that you would want to share? We just got our first disc
Americans on these things.
from the late 60s, legendary Canadian filmmaker named Don Owen. There's 6 of his films on that disc, so anybody who's curious about what was happening in Canadian cinema at that time, there should be something on there that they would appreciate. David, what's up next? Yeah, well, just give an additional plug for the Ernie game. The second heavy hitter on that, the supplemental feature that has the biggest star is a much loved and a big documentary that a lot of people maybe haven't seen in a while or have never seen ever, called Ladies and Gentlemen, Mr. Leonard Cohen, which is like a beautiful 36-minute, roughly intimate portrait of Leonard Cohen, sort of right at the cusp of his music career starting. He was a huge poet and novelist in Canada, and that's a real gem that I wanted to spotlight. I'm excited to watch that now too. I'm a huge fan, so it's sad to see him go. There's actually a documentary that called Barry and Leonard, and a lot of people have been talking to me about that. He really is all over that. So it's like some of the most classic Leonard Cohen footage there is. Okay, so you guys are sitting around thinking, how can I make trillions? And then let's restore film. I work in radio. I hate money too. But where does the idea come from? Is it a labor of love? Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's absolutely a labor of love for sure. I mean, and Tish and Eric, who I mentioned earlier, we have a company here in Los Angeles called Marvelous that does sort of similar work, but it's a much broader mandate. You know, that we do international cinema, narrative, documentary, and I'm Canadian. A's lived in Canada for a while in his youth, and we were always noticing the absence of rediscovered Canadian gems in the slate. We kept saying, we got to do a Canada Spotlight, we got to do a Canada Spotlight. And then, separately, John and I have known each other for years, but we're spending a lot of time together virtually, just like this, during the pandemic with a third friend of ours. And, we just got to talking, and it became readily apparent between the two of us that this thing should be a component of this other company. There's so much amazing Canadian cinema that's just completely unknown or lost or underseen that once we started peeling the onion layers, it became apparent that this should be an entirely different company. Founded about a year ago, we're starting to see the fruits of the labor, which is really exciting. Good, I got it. We're here with the Canadian International Pictures, the company restoring archival film. Where do you find this stuff? Like, how do you get access to these reels that no one else has unearthed or created anything from in a long time? I mean, there's a lot of digging. Some of the future releases, there are films that we're still very much looking for. For some of the stuff we're releasing initially, we're lucky that companies like the National Film Board in Canada, you know, they make so many incredible films, whether they're short films, feature films, that they've either restored or scanned or preserved in some form, and we've sort of picked through a lot of the great things they've made over the years to put together our first few releases. And there are other great companies like Helen Film in Quebec who've restored lots of films, and it's kind of just a process of watching and rewatching so many of these important Canadian films and deciding how to present them, how to package them, who the audience might be for them, and we've just had a lot of luck finding good stuff so far. Is it difficult to get the licensing for when you want to? You know, so far we haven't really hit too many brick walls, but we've some are more challenging than others. There are films we've been in active negotiations for 6-7 months now, and just kind of some you have to be really patient. Other titles it takes a couple of weeks, so it really does vary. Okay, anything else in the catalog that you guys are excited about? We heard about the Leonard Cohen one. Anything else that you either seek to do or will be doing? Yeah, like to tease a little bit, it's actually going to be part of a larger set. That there's an amazing film from the 60s in Montreal called The Cat in the Bag, or Le Chat in the Sack. That's just a really gorgeous sort of new wave influence, but also completely its own sort of statement of, you know, Canada and Quebec in sort of the early to mid 60s. That's really something special. It has a John Coltrane soundtrack that he composed especially for the film, which gives it a little something extra. But yeah, that's a real gem and a beautiful restoration from the NFT, and I think that's going to be a huge discovery or rediscovery for a lot of people. Good. Okay, now's the time. Oh, go ahead. There's another one coming up later. We actually don't know when it's coming up, but probably later this year, called The Devil at Your Heels, which is a crazy documentary about a famous Canadian, not that famous, but Canadian stunt driver who did not live that much longer after the film, and influence on the TV show Eastbound and Down. The protagonist is actually named after one of the other characters in the show, in the documentary, Kenny Powers. Oh wow, and that's a great show. Yeah, it's a wild documentary. It has a kind of a little known cult following, but I think it'll probably really take off when we release it. That's the hope. Yes, well, I'm excited about all these films. Okay, so real talk, were you guys friends before you started this company? Yeah, absolutely. John and I have been friends for over 15 years, I'd say, right? What's the good one? Go ahead. We were both at Concordia Film School at the same time, and stayed in touch over the years. And yeah, just our kind of shared enthusiasm for cinema brought us together as friends, and then it just kept going into this company. Shout out to my ex-wife, who's Concordia alum, who will remain nameless. What's it like working with your close friends? Is it difficult? Is it fun? I mean, that's kind of the dream, right? Start a business with your close friends. Yeah, and this is not just like paying lip service or whatever. It is like a genuine delight, because I've been out here in LA doing different things for a while, and it's let's just say it doesn't always go that way. So, you know, the fact that there's the three of us, we all get along really well, is not something to sort of take for granted. No. And, you know, in the larger sense too, of just working in this kind of Blu-ray world, which is niche but growing for these kind of, you know, cinephile art house movies. You know, there's a larger community too. We know a lot of people that are running other labels that are doing similar work for American films or what have you. And it's, they kind of like being part of a larger family, which is nice. There's a lot of good energy. Good. And where do you guys hope to take this? Like, where do you see Canadian international pictures going in the next 2, 3, 5 years? I mean, to me, the really exciting possibility is just building a huge catalog of films, getting to the point where people can, you know, they can just pluck one film out of the collection that they really like, and I can lead them to a bunch of other films they may not have otherwise watched. But beyond that, I mean, there's potential to get into streaming, to get into theatrical releases. I mean, there's already been talk about theatrical releases for some of the films that we're distributing. But, you know, we're really passionate about Blu-ray, so we're not looking to move on to something else right away. Okay, so you're not looking at, 8-track, or what's the failed one? Not Blu-ray, but HD, DVD, or whatever? We're going straight back to Laserdisc. All right, Laserdisc, that's the one. All right, I'm here with David and Jonathan, both co-founders of Canadian International Pictures. The business idea is fascinating. I'm looking forward to hearing about some of these releases as they happen, and in particular, this Leonard Cohen one is appealing. Where can people find out more about the company and website and Twitters and all this nonsense? I guess starting with you, Jonathan.
Yeah, I mean, the website for more information about us is Canadian-International.com. You can buy our stuff at vinegarsyndrome.com, an amazing company that distributes films by many different companies. And then, yeah, we're on all the different social channels.
Okay, we're CI Pictures on Twitter, CIP Releasing on Instagram, and Canadian International Pictures on Facebook. Gotta do the gram, gotta do the Twitters. All right, like a pro, I ended the interview about 10 seconds too early, but I mentioned it, which killed 10 seconds, and that, my friends, is how it's done. David Marriott, thank you so much for being here. Thanks, Matt. Appreciate it. And Jonathan Doyle, a great pleasure. Thanks a lot. I'm Andy Cooper. You're listening to The Late Showgram on the iHeartRadio Talk Network. We'll be back. We will. I promise you. Would I lie to you? I'm not lying to you. Okay, maybe I'm lying to you. I'm not lying to you. I am not lying to you.
I'm Michael Zagari, investment advisor with Mandeville Private Client. Advancements in artificial intelligence, decentralized finance, and blockchain adoption might have you wondering, is this right for me? This level of innovation requires a guide, someone who can advise you and personalize your investment strategy. It's time to feed your interest. To learn more, visit followmichael.ca. That's followmichael.ca.
Mandeville Private Client Inc. is a member of the Investment Industry Regulatory Organization of Canada and a member of the Canadian Investor Protection Fund.
Do it once, do it right with CM Textiles, your one-stop shop for fashion fabrics, custom upholstery fabrics for all your residential and commercial needs. Specialists in motorization with remote wireless technology, so you can sit back and control your window dressing from anywhere. Check out their dynamic full winter collection. Currently 30% off fabrics for drapes, design, home decor, and home food. 4 showrooms to serve you. Online at cmtextiles.com and on Instagram at cmtextiles. You know a 15 to 18-year-old who loves nature, who wants to make a difference for conservation in Canada, and has fun while doing it? Wild Outside is calling.
Wild Outside is an award-winning Canadian Wildlife Federation program offered free to teens ages 15 to 18.
New Times.
As part of the Canada Service Corps.
Join a Wild Outside and enjoy outdoor adventure. Everything from hiking and backpacking to canoe trips, rock climbing, snowshoeing, biking, and more.
Wild Outside also gives you opportunity to give back to your community by planning and executing conservation activities like tree planting, shoreline cleanups, removing invasive species, and installing pollinator gardens.
It's barrier-free, accessible, open to ages 15 to 18, and that's all. It's offered free to you by the Canadian Wildlife Federation.
It's a chance for teens to get outside, discover the natural world around them, meet new friends, and help change the world. Wild Outside, the power of youth in action. Now accepting new members in Montreal. Register your team today at wildoutside.ca. Have you ever encountered sales pressure?
This is Bridget Federley of Cayman Federley Funeral Home. At Cayman Federley, our funeral counselors give you the freedom to make decisions without pressure tactics. You will only encounter helpful staff truly sensitive to the needs of your family, staff that has been part of our family for many years.
Cayman Federley, recipient of the Consumer Choice Award for 2021 and 2022. For information, call 514-481-5301 or visit caymanfederley.com. Hi, Don here for ResAV. In the past, people had to travel for business meetings to keep their companies going and growing. Well, not anymore. Let ResAV show you how to set up cost-efficient and easy-to-use automated video conferencing solutions. Whether it's for a big boardroom, a small collab, or office space, ResAV has the expertise to help your company and save you money. For more information and a free evaluation, call us 514-439-3901. We're ResAV. And best of all, we come to you.
There is a light that surrounds and protects, that guides and reassures, that watches over us, that always remembers and always shines bright. The lighthouse brightens the lives of spiritually ill children and their families. My name is Johanna, and the lighthouse has been helping to light the way for our family since my son Matthew was 4 years old. And I genuinely at IamTheLight.ca.
He was brilliant in bringing the people together. Today, I think they would be called freedom fighters. They would be the ones defending their homeland.
Artificial intelligence. The most important struggle. The American side of the Detroit River, protected by 7-meter walls, 39 heavy cannons, and a garrison of 2,500 American troops, now preparing to invade Upper Canada. Commander, General William Hull, a 59-year-old veteran of the American Revolution.
Enter. Did the dispatchers get through?
No one likes what is questioned. Like, when will loved one can no longer live alone? Chef Weaver has the answer. The finest care, devoted staff, all in a cozy West Island setting for 30 years.
The documents recovered from American troops are a strategic coup, and Tecumseh knows exactly how to use them. The British have been wavering on informal pledges to protect indigenous lands. Tecumseh wants to make a deal. Military intelligence in exchange for Britain's food support.
What? Why?
Prior to 1801, it's gone. Whereas Julie is trying to work with what's left. The only way you can do this is with British. He had no choice but to go to the British in order to defeat the Americans.
Tecumseh embarks on a historic meeting with Upper Canada's Major General, Isaac Brock.
Obviously, Brock sized up Tecumseh, Tecumseh sized up Brock. And they were impressed with each other, and therefore they had trust and confidence in each other, which is really, really important.
They dissect the letter from General Hull.
I have every reason to expect large body of savages will direct to fix this.
Hull's extraordinary letter betrays a key weakness, his neurotic fear of indigenous people.
It was perfect. I mean, it had been designed by Sigmund Freud. It couldn't have been any better. It laid out his midnight terrors. It laid out his fears. And all you had to do was to find something that would answer that.
Tecumseh offers the help of hundreds of his warriors in exchange for Britain's support for a sovereign indigenous homeland west of the Appalachian Mountains. State for Tecumseh, huge territory, the well-being of his people and many nations had joined together. He thought it was a smart alliance. Brock and Tecumseh agreed on an audacious plan. First, Brock writes a letter to General Hull.
You must give away the nameless book of Indians to attach themselves to my troops. Go beyond my control in the moment the contest commences.
Brock's threat plays straight into Hull's greatest fears.
And he had imagination. Being a good soldier was often very unimaginative, but Brock was imaginative.
Now, it's Tecumseh's time to strike. August 15th, 1812. Bolstered by warriors from the Delaware, Kickapoo, and Potawatomi nations, Tecumseh leads 600 men across the Detroit River towards the American front, where Brock and his 800 troops were joining.
And it was declined. I went to put in and like swipe the card, the chip part, that was declined. There were people behind me. It's like, you know, the grocery store stress when something isn't working, and the lineup's getting longer, and the cashiers are like starting to get impatient with
Yeah,
me.
yeah. No, well.
So I just kept on seeing that my card was declined. I was like, what the heck is going on here? And luckily, there was a bank with my branch just right across the street from the grocery store. So left the groceries there. The bank was about to close. It was like 4:59 with 30 seconds left. Knocking on the door. They brought me in. Thank God, whoever was working at the bank took the time to sit down because I looked, disheveled. I'm pretty sure it was like pouring rain that day. It was like every bad day stereotype was happening to me. And they said, yeah, okay, so when was the last time you were in Barbados? I said, I've never been to Barbados. And the person at the bank, they brought in the security expert. They sat down. They had to run a bunch of wires and get everything ready. And as it turns out, someone was running a random number generator program in Barbados, and they landed on mine and withdrew about $500
On the credit card.
Account. What's that?
On the credit card or the debit card?
On my debit card.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was like, this is awful. I need to get my money back. And they said, okay, yeah, it's going to take, about a week. Anything that you want to spend, you can spend on your credit card. We promise you we're going to reimburse this. It's going to take a little while. We're going to send you a new card. We're going to send you all these new forms and everything. The whole process took about a week and a half, which honestly I'm really grateful for. But I don't think I've ever been more scared in my life than the moment before I realized that, what had happened, that I had been hacked. Because I thought that just something terrible had happened. I don't even know what.
Yeah.
I can tell you that going through my head, my mind was racing. And that's probably the most serious scam that's ever been run on me.
What was your PIN code, middle name, and date of birth, and grandmother's maiden name? We're just going to get the details of the story, Ben, for no reason other than just the details we need.
This is important journalism.
But yeah, that's crazy. Well, if it's on the credit card, my understanding of the banking system is not great. So if what I'm about to say is garbage and not true, just take it with a grain of salt. But if it's a credit card, it's very easy to transfer. It's canceled because it's kind of on the bank's dime. You owe the bank for it, but at the end of the day, it's their money. But when it's your debit card, it's extremely difficult. So you're lucky you got it back at all.
Yeah, the funny thing is about all this is that prior to that time, I was like a good little angel with my credit card. Like I never spent anything on my credit card. If I ever paid for something on my credit card, I would just immediately transfer. And then I had that 1 week of my little taste of freedom where I just started buying things even though I didn't even need them. I had my credit card and I was really using it for the first time, and I let it get a little bit out of control. But then I ended up, paying it all back. But yeah, man, that was a wild couple of weeks there.
Yeah, I'm lucky you made it out alive. Did it feel like free money when you finally got it back? Because you would emotionally let go of it.
Yeah, absolutely. There was a freeing sense, and I've always been a bit of a sensible shopper. Being a journalist, we really learned, it was actually something that we learned in university, was how to budget, how to work as a freelancer,
That's all the correct state of journalism. If an undergrad, they're telling you how to budget. Oh no, what have we done?
There were 2 classes we had to take. It was budgeting for journalists and then math for journalists.
Oh no, this does not bode well for us, Ben. We picked it in. It's like the opposite of athletes that are taught you need to learn how to manage your money because you're going to make so much of it, but for a short period. You're going to make so little of it for a long period. You need to manage it properly. Yeah, at least they're being honest with you. It's cool.
I feel like in my undergrad, once a week, the department would bring out somebody that worked in journalism. And they'd bring out the TV people, and they were looking like $1 million. They brought in the radio people. They had personality for days. And then they would bring in the freelance photographers. And God bless the freelance photographers.
Disheveled, haven't got a new suit in 100 years. Birkenstocks.
Hey kids, my name's Gil.
Passing out a hat at the end. Ben, it's a great pleasure to have you on the show. I'm glad you got your $500 back.
Thanks, David.
I'm Dave Cooper. This is The Late Show, Graham. We'll be back.
I'm Andres Pedrix with Royal LePage Elite. If you're thinking of selling your house or of upgrading, downsizing, or buying a new home, call me. Selling or buying, you can absolutely count on me to get it right. Please jot down my number, 892-6547, and remember my name, Andres Pedrix, Royal LePage Elite, 892-6547.
For all your real estate needs, reach Andres, Nicholas.
Okay, wait. Enhanced by Google. Oh god, okay.
An iHeart radio station.
KJC to develop laws clean. It's problematic due to the Constitution.
Good morning, it's 4 o'clock. I'm James Foster with your CTV News update. Sunshine throughout your day today. A very, very nice start for the month of February. It is minus 16 degrees downtown. Your weather details are in moments. Here's what is making news. We hear often about new records being shattered almost on a daily basis. Gas prices, one example, as the price for a regular liter of gas this morning in Montreal at some stations, $1.63. Another record being set, the number of complaints to the Office québécoise de langue française, and obtained by the Journal de Montréal, shows that complaints to the language office broke 5,400 for the current fiscal year. That's a 10-year high, and the fiscal year isn't even over yet. Now, being served in French made up 31% of current complaints, an increase of 6%, and nearly 80% of all complaints centered right here in Montreal. In just over an hour last night, the city was the scene of 2 drive-by shootings and a stabbing. The first incident saw police respond to the drive-by shooting at 8:15 on Jean-Mance de Port-Réal in a Hudson Cartierville. According to witnesses, a 37-year-old man was sitting in his car when another vehicle drove up beside him and opened fire. 37-year-old was not hurt. He was treated for shock. About 45 minutes later, police called to Anjou on Emily de Gauche Street, where a 39-year-old man was stabbed during what was supposed to be a simple meetup for an online sale. The victim was supposed to meet a buyer when witnesses say he was attacked by 2 men in their 20s. Suspects fled the scene. The victim was taken to the hospital and will be okay. Finally, almost 30 minutes after the stabbing, officers were called to a home on de la Valtrie in Mercier-Hochelaga-Maisonneuve after 2 vehicles opened fire on a home and then sped off. Not long after that, one of the suspect vehicles was found abandoned on a street corner in Anjou. Firearm found inside. No arrests have been made in any of these cases. And Quebec City could soon see its own version of the anti-health measure protest that we saw in Ottawa. Quebec Union boss Bernard Gauthier, often referred to as Rambo, posting a video to his Facebook page last evening saying that Quebecers are fed up with public health measures. They're already organizing, and they're making their own convoy to the National Assembly for the end of the week. Local and provincial police have heard the rumblings of the possible protest and are currently discussing a plan of action. And from your Torbay Weather Center today, lots of sunshine, a high eventually hitting -2. Now watch out, because with the wind chill this morning, it will be cold, -24 at times. Tomorrow, +2 with some rain. Thursday, Friday, some snow. It's -16 downtown, -25 with the wind. Your next CTV News update is at 4:30.
You're listening to David Cooper on the iHeartRadio Talk Network. And now, it's time for Oops, I Dated Again with Natasha Vinnick. She always does. When the music plays, she dances so jovially. I wish you at home could see this. I really do. That's the highlight of the week for me, watching Natasha Vinnick dance. I'm David Cooper. You're listening
welcome to the Late Showgram. It's Monday night into Tuesday morning, and it's that time for our one listener who loves Natasha, who's probably very excited to hear Natasha today. Natasha, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
For those that have never heard this before, we usually start off with dating, but things quickly devolve. They go off the rails.
Yes.
It's such a pleasure to have you. You're a hilarious comedian out of San Francisco. You can be found online at natashavinnick.com. I see I'm using the Canadian pronunciation, Natasha Vinnick, or follow it on all the social medias. That's Vinnik. Natasha, what a great pleasure it is to have you.
Oh, what a great pleasure to be here.
You've got a theme song. I mean, we're really buttering you up to come back every week.
I love it. I'm excited to be back every week. I get a little bit tired. I set an alarm to remind myself in case I take a little cat nap for 5 minutes. I did a little cat nap for 5 minutes, and then I go, gotta get up, gotta get ready.
So you're in a go. You're well napped. I too napped for this show. Look at us. We're a bunch of adult nappers.
Yeah.
So in a great effort to curate content for this show,
yes,
you have been dating, and the show, and really all of Canada, or at least all of Canada that listens, a one listener, thanks you for it. Do you want to walk us through what's been going on, or do we want to tease that for later, the big date?
We can talk through it.
Let's do it. So tell me what's, we got some men on the go. We'll get to those men later. Forget those.
Yeah.
Forget
This is our current man. He had seen me host at the San Jose Improv a couple weeks ago.
A very reputable stand-up venue, and I'm proud of you for being there. You know, a room I never played at, the San Jose Improv, because you have to be funny to play that room.
That's about. They're so jealous now because your name's on a website.
Surprise! My name is on a website. David Cooper, name on a website. That's what my resume says, and that's all my resume says. Okay, so he saw you perform. Now,
perform there.
Is that usually awkward when men you're dating see you perform for the first time?
Well, usually it's men that I'm dating usually see me perform later. So this is a guy that I've never met, and he watched me at a show, and then he slid into my DMs after.
Oh, wow. Okay, so he saw, is this the guy who was the opposite of a paranoid?
No. This is a guy I've never spoken to before.
Just a random guy? So men out there.
Random guy.
We've occasionally had listeners reach out to you and message you, and so there could be hope.
Well, okay.
No. Don't do it. That's creepy. Don't do it. We're backing that up. Don't do it. Inappropriate, creepy. Don't do it. Do not do that. Do not message Natasha. She is not dating men from the internet. This is an outlier. It's a one-off. It's never happening again. I never said that.
People slide into my DMs once in a while. He slid in, and I guess he had seen me at the show. And he had read my blog, my dating blog from many years ago.
Wow.
I think he read it after finding me on Instagram from the show. And he said something like, now that I have read your blog, does it mean that I'll have like a leg up against other guys who go on a first date with you?
That's his opener?
That's his opener.
Oh, wow.
He said, I saw you in the show, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, is it the first or the second one? He's like, the audience member got kicked out, you know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, the audience member booted during your set?
No. The headliner did. No one's drunk enough to argue with me yet.
So the usual response when a strange man messages you on a social media platform is like, slow your roll, it's a little much, I don't know you. Why this guy?
I think the way he had said things in the beginning just seemed like normal and chill, and I'm like, yeah, I liked it. And then he read the blog, and I'm like, oh, that was nice that you went through that effort or whatever.
I'm just taking notes here. If I ever like someone and my girlfriend dumps me, which we all know she will eventually, read her blog. Got it.
Yeah, read the blog. You know, he said, did I have a leg up? And I'm like, no, only if you put the information into practice is it useful, because anyone can read a blog. And he's like, well, can I have an opportunity to put my research into practice? And I was like, sure.
Why not?
A couple weeks ago, I was in LA. I was like, sure,
whatever, I don't care.
You know?
I'm just ready to throw in the towel. And he'll do whatever. Fine. Nice enough.
Sure.
Okay. So how do you respond to that?
Well, he is like, okay, when you come back, and then he hit me up again, and then we picked a day, and all of my answers were maybe like one or two words, very short sentences. You know, he told me later on the day.
Like he was pretending like you were taking a good attitude even though you weren't.
Well, he was like really, I think, struggling with like, I know in person she was fun and delightful and lovely, but these messages.
It's tough when you're reaching out to a woman from the internet. So you were right to blow him off, and he was cool about it. So I guess that speaks well of him.
He was chill about it, you know, and it's like he got to see me being a person on stage. I've never gotten to see him being a person at all, you know. So to me, it's just like a random human that isn't real because he's just over text, you know.
Is he
so I wasn't excited. He ended up being very handsome.
Very handsome.
Yeah, very handsome.
We know you like nose.
Lovely nose, beautiful
Did he
eyes.
ask you questions?
He asked me questions. Well, that's the one thing he learned from the dating blog is that.
So, in some sense, in all these men you've been dating, for those just tuning in, if you don't know Natasha, if there's one thing she likes, it's men who ask her questions. If there's two things, it's a man with a strong nose. Owen Wilson. Who's your ideal nose? Is it Owen Wilson?
Owen Wilson's got a great one.
But who's
Mark Wahlberg has a strong nose too.
Marky Mark, yep. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. All right, Marky Mark's nose, boom. So, so he's handsome, and okay, so he messages you, and you guys, where do you guys meet?
He messaged me. He picked a place, and I was like, that place is far from me, even though he's driving like an hour from San Jose. So I picked a place that was like within walking distance, and we met up there. And
I gotta interrupt. I was talking about questions, and I forgot.
Yes.
So every man you've ever dated, you've had to prompt. Hey, buddy, you're not asking me enough questions. But this guy got the hint early by reading your blog. You never actually had to ask him to ask you questions.
No.
Which
And
would be a real turn on.
Yeah, I mean, it was great. And he was like, hey, I know that I read your blog, and I got this from you that most guys just talk about themselves and don't ask questions. And he's like, but I want you to know this is how it would normally be. Like, and I'm like, okay. I don't know if I believe him or not, but he seemed pretty curious about the person, me, and the person.
Okay, so you guys meet and you make him drive. I like that you're making him work. You're making him climb a bit of a hill because of the way he reached out, and I support that.
Absolutely. I was not excited. I was ready going on the date. I didn't want to go on the date. And then he called me really quick to like confirm the place. And I was a person on the phone. I think that's the reason, because he was dreading it too because of my like lackluster responses until the phone call where he's like, oh yeah, she's a person who is, you know, seems nice.
So you're animated on the phone. All the one foot in the door stuff, just you talk to him on the phone.
Well, on the phone, I'm like, he's a person, you know, be nice. You know?
Yeah. Wow. This is exciting. You did it all for the show.
I did it for the show. I did it for you guys.
No other reason you would ever date anyone, right?
No, there's no point. We don't know.
So you make him schlep hours, an hour and a half to drive to meet you.
An hour. Well, I guess total is an hour and a half back and forth, but yeah, he comes.
Let's do the math. 1 hour plus 1 hour. Yeah, that's an hour and a half.
45. It's like 45 minutes each way. You know what I mean? Okay.
And
so
what's the venue?
It's like a little bar that has empanadas. So I like that because I wanted empanadas.
Okay.
We split a bottle of wine, and neither of us know anything about wine, but we, you know, we're like, oh, wine is good.
Know things about wine. Come on.
Yeah, I like to know things about wine. He's originally from India, but then grew up in Leeds.
So he's got the British vibes, the Indian vibes. Very good, very good.
Both those vibes, yeah. And he's traveled a lot. I mean, I joked that from looking at his Instagram, he looked like a travel boy, and I was like, whatever, he's like a boring travel boy. You know, the ones that like travel places, they just get pictures of themselves taken, and you're like, we get it, you travel.
We get it. You see the Eiffel Tower, great. Who cares? It's there. I know it's there. I'm just not there right now.
I don't need to be there right now, you know?
So, and how does the date go?
It goes actually really good. It was pretty long. I'd say it was like a number of hours.
73 hours.
73 hours. It's still going now.
You've been hallucinating from lack of sleep.
It might be 6 hours. Maybe 5 hours.
You went and how were the empanadas? Did they have the raisins in them, or were they empanadas without raisins?
So I got the mushroom one that didn't have raisins, but then later there was a chicken one. Okay, actually that's a fun one. It's a fun little thing. We can go on this for this.
I want to know about the raisins.
Yeah, you want to know about the raisins. That's not
I have strong feelings about it. It really changes the empanada when there's raisins in it.
An empanada with raisins was left in a Lyft car that we never got.
Wow. You left behind an empanada with raisins. The plot thickens. Will she get her empanada back? find out when we come back from a break. It'll be a cliffhanger. So you spend 6 hours at this place.
Yeah.
You order a bottle of wine.
Oh, not at this place. We could go to 2 different places.
Oh, you're going place to place.
We had an adventure.
It's not completely wrong.
You're not a little COVID scared, or you're just like screwed at this point. Oh, you got Omicron.
I got Omicron,
You're fine.
you know. So that's, I'm bad, but I'm like, I'm gonna be okay for like 6 weeks until.
No judgment. Just don't kill your grandma is my advice. So.
Yeah, they're far.
Yeah, great.
And dying, so I can't do it.
I'm pretty sure Bon July is
Or not. Let them live. Let them live or die. Whatever they
after
want to do.
St. Anne's.
This is very exciting. We're going to find out about these empanadas and the raisins in them coming up after the break. That'll be the big teaser, the ratio of raisins to meat. How many raisins per empanada? That is the level of detail that we are going into. It's an important.
I think it's critical.
It's critical. It's all that and more. You're only going to hear it on the iHeartRadio Talk Network. We'll do an in-depth profile. When we come back, a joke I wrote that was funny that Natasha has not yet heard, and I've only told 7 times on this show. I'm Dave Cooper. This is the Late Show.
When a story needs to be told, when you need to be heard, reach out to CJAD 800 and let us do the talking. Tell us about it through your story at CJAD800.com. Because we're listening to the voice of the community, the voice of Montreal, CJAD 800.
They're called Cuisine West Island because they made their name manufacturing and installing new kitchens. But why stop there? Transform your entire home with Cuisine West Island the way you like it. Contemporary, modern, country, urban, kitchens, bathrooms, or built-in furniture. Everything is designed and manufactured right here in Montreal and installed by the professional team at Cuisine West Island. Pop in and see for yourself at 2758 St. Charles in Kirkland or at cuisinewestisland.com. Cuisine West Island, for those not easily impressed.
Celebrate the new year by refurnishing your home during the winter sale. On now at Design Louis George. Right now, and for a limited time, save on dining room, bedroom, and living room furniture, on accessories, lighting, and luxurious sheets and towels. Top quality at top savings. The winter sale at Design Louis George. On now. Visit their big, bright boutique in TMR at 4360 Chemin de la Côte de Liesse, east of DeCarry. Free parking. DesignLouisGeorge.com.
This past year has been challenging, with many of us facing unexpected expenses, lost wages, and rising credit card debt. We all need a little help from time to time, but it can be hard to ask for help when it comes to your finances. But guess what? You're not alone. Millions of Canadians share that feeling with you. 500,000 Canadians have found help with their debt, and so can you. With Consolidated Credit Counseling Services of Canada, they are one of the largest nonprofit credit counseling organizations in the country, with an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. They can help you consolidate your bills into one affordable payment, minimize your interest rates, and get you out of debt fast. No matter how much you owe, you don't need to do this alone. To get help, call 1-800-288-4991. That's 1-800-288-4991. Let Consolidated Credit get you back to a debt-free life. Call 1-800-288-4991. Make the call today. Toll free at 1-800-288-4991. Ontario license number 470-5786.
Hey there, it's Simon Talikis from Royal LePage Classic, and I'm asking you to keep doing what you've been doing and call me first. Got a call to sell a condo on 19th Avenue in Lachine, and I did in days at 99% of asking. Charles had a bungalow in Dorval, Judith and Mark had a home in Beaconsfield, and we sold them both within a week and above asking. So call me first to sell your property or to get into the home of your dreams. Simon Talikis, Royal LePage Classic, 450-687-4430.
A lakeside home is closer than you think. Presti's newest luxury waterfront project is just minutes from downtown, and our model home is ready for viewing. Royal K Homes along Lac St. Louis and Dorval are unlike any other properties available in Montreal. Nestled in McConnell Woods with waterfront access with your own private docks. Timeless, modern dream homes on the most exquisite properties. Book a visit today at presti.ca.
Hi, I'm Max Petretti. Come see for yourselves why I chose Presti to build my home. Visit presti.ca for more details.
So many Quebecers suffer from back pain, which, when left untreated, can result in a loss of quality of life. The Quebec Chiropractors Association invites you to learn more. Visit chiropractic.com for more information about the practice. You can find tips and advice for daily activities and where you can find the chiropractor closest to you. Be well informed. Prevent injuries. Live your life to the fullest. Pain changes everything. Chiropractic care changes pain.
J.J. Cardinal Funeral Home is proudly family-owned and operated, having been in service to the community for over 50 years, helping families and loved ones navigate some of life's most difficult moments. They offer pre-planning services, comfortable and spacious visitation and reception rooms, cremation on site, as well as a unique columbarium that is integrated in their breathtaking chapels. J.J. Cardinal Funeral Home. Let their family serve your family with understanding, compassion, and integrity. Call 514-631-1511 or visit jjcardinal.ca.
This Bell Media station believes in being accountable to you, the listener, which is why we participate in the Canadian Broadcast Standards Council. We are committed to upholding the highest standards of broadcast excellence and adhering to the codes of conduct administered by the CBSC. If you have a concern about something you heard on our station, contact us or the CBSC at Post Office Box 3265, Station D, Ottawa, Ontario, K1P 6H8, or visit the CBSC's website, cbsc.ca.
Everybody's favorite alien returns to CTV Sci-Fi Channel. And if he's humanity's last hope, what's going on around here? We're screwed. Resident Alien. All new Wednesday at 9 on CTV Sci-Fi Channel.
The Late Showgram continues with special guest host David Cooper on the iHeartRadio Talk Network.
And special guest, Natasha Viddick for Oops, I Dated Again. It's Monday night into Tuesday morning. We are joined by a hilarious comedian to talk about dating. If you want to jump on the show, ask Natasha a question, or you have any questions about dating, I'm not a specialist, and neither is she. We will give you bad dating advice at 1-855-633-1010, the number 1-855-633-1010. I'm David Cooper. You're listening to The Late Showgram. Natasha, how are you? Thank you for continuing to be here.
Yeah, I'm delighted to continue to be here.
Boom, boom. Now, before the break, we teased a joke that I've only told 7 times in about an hour. Now, for those just tuning in and those who've heard me say it 7 times, my girlfriend went to the dentist today, Natasha.
Yeah.
This is the setup. Just breaking down the perfect structure of this joke.
Yes.
Okay? She said to me, and it's true, it's happened. She said, you would love this dentist, in an effort to try to get me to go to the dentist, because it's been a minute. She said, while you're there, they work on your mouth, and there's a TV, and you can stream anything you want on it. To which I responded, Natasha, Netflix and drill. Yeah? Yes. Breaking news, I wrote a great joke. Now, for those just tuning in right now and not in the last 30 seconds, my girlfriend went to the dentist. There was a television. She said you could watch anything you want on this TV, and I said Netflix and drill. Wow.
Love it.
Quite
So
I finally wrote a good joke,
That was
Natasha.
good. No, that was really good. That's
Set up.
really good.
Punch. It's a bit punny, but what do you
No, it's absolutely funny. It's all your fun.
So it's the lowest form of comedy.
I love puns. I love puns.
Okay. You are a hilarious comedian. We were talking before the break about a story. You met a man. He slid into your DMs. He messaged you on social media after seeing you do stand-up. You kind of made him work for you. You made him drive all the way to you. You gave him one-word answers, but he kept at it. He's quite handsome.
He is handsome.
Asked you a lot of good questions, which is something you love.
Yeah, I love that.
You went on a long date where you hopped from place to place to place. You shared a bottle of wine. You had empanadas.
We lost it. So this is a guy who on the date, he's like, I'm a lucky guy. Like, he's someone who sees himself as a lucky guy, which is something that I don't relate to as a person. I see myself as lucky. Well,
Why was he saying that?
He was giving me a couple examples because he definitely has like a positive view on the world, and
people like that.
It's hard to relate to.
It's exhausting. Oh.
And he is like someone who, like, he's like, I believe that if I do good things will happen to me. And I'm like, it's nice, but I don't know how you have that worldview and reconcile it with millions of people who are starving, probably doing good things. Good things aren't happening to them. You know what I mean?
And millions of people doing bad things and great things. are happening.
Exactly. Yeah.
If everyone got what they deserved every time something bad happens to you, it would be because you deserved it. How mortifying would that be?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so I'm like, wow, that's an interesting mindset. And I asked him that, and he gave me an answer which is better than most answers I get to that question, which is that, like, you know, like he gets overwhelmed if he thinks like he can't think a lot. I don't know how to say the right way, but basically that, like, it would be overwhelming to constantly think about people he wished he was helping all the time, you know, like that he wishes there were more people he could do good for, but all he knows is for himself, he functions best when he thinks that way, you know?
Okay, so it's like he knows it may not be true, but it's a good worldview, and he's going to stick to it because he wants to believe that, and it makes him a better person. And
It's like a little self-aware.
okay, so it's a more of a positive outlook, but it's not based in what he thinks is the real truth of the universe.
I mean, I think maybe he thinks it's true for him. I don't know. I don't know, and I appreciate people who think that way, because I think they're able to do what I'm not able to do, where, like, if he's able to just zoom in on his life, and if he does that, he thinks everything's okay, but I zoom out so big all the time, and I'm like, the world is a devastating place, and bad things are happening everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's crippling, you know?
Yeah, I do know.
Sorry.
The weight of the world. I mean, it's like I try to do the work to have that view that he has, and unfortunately, sometimes it's too difficult to have.
It's hard to stay so zoomed in for me, you know?
I see. Well, maybe he'll rub off on you. I don't know.
Well, we'll see. So we got this lucky guy as we were leaving the first place.
Become a lucky guy?
So as we were leaving the first place, the guy who works there, he was like, hey, I was about to give away all the rest of the empanadas. You guys want some empanadas?
Wow,
Like,
wow.
okay.
The empanadas is the thing that we were going to come back to.
Exactly. So we got 2 free empanadas. And then he was worried that when we went into the next bar, we wouldn't be able to hide them. And so he hid one in his shirt, and I put one in my pocket. And I think we lost an empanada on the ride. We went to first place. Jazz music wasn't our vibe. Second place, old people, but we liked it.
Old people. How old we talking?
Like in their 70s,
Okay, good. I mean, there are listeners. We have 7-year-old listeners. They're young at heart, Natasha.
I'm not saying they're not young at heart. I'm saying.
I killed
Oh, this guy's also 28. This guy's 28. I'm 32.
Okay, well, we're going to go over an article later from the University. Oh, no, this one isn't from there. It's that 60% of younger men of any age are falling for more mature women these days.
I guess I'm so mature.
So he's 28. You're 32.
Yeah, 32. He probably definitely wants kids, so I don't know how long this will really work out.
Is that not, you don't want those little disgusting
I don't want those little guys.
crying diapers?
I don't want those little guys.
Expensive.
Yeah. I told him the one situation in which I would have kids, and that is if we had a surrogate.
Okay, so you just don't want to give birth.
Well, that's one of the things.
And the other?
I don't want to give birth. I want to make sure that we have, like, family or, like, community people around to support helping this kid, like raising this kid.
Oh, so you want the surrogate to be involved? You want to usurp the surrogate's family?
No, not the surrogate's family, just us having family around, you know what I mean? And like friends around in the community, you know? And that he and whoever is helping with our kids wouldn't mind if I had to travel for comedy all the time.
Yeah. Well, I expect you will have to travel for comedy all the time, Natasha, because I think you're very funny and I believe in you.
Well, that's very nice. Thank you.
Our topic tonight, the lies we tell our friends. I think very highly of you. Now, okay, so you got lucky, maybe not in the carnal sense, but in the empanada sense. Now, what is the perfect ratio of meat to raisin in a raisined empanada?
I think like 15% raisins.
Love it. I'm buying it.
Yeah.
I like a non-raisin empanada, but I don't like an over-raisined empanada.
No, you don't want over raisin. You want the meat to be like just salty enough to really like go ahead and have
balance the sweetness of the raisins or the sultanas, as they call them in the United Kingdom. All right, so you guys, you don't get lucky in the sexy sense, but you get lucky in the empanada sense, or are we getting there?
And then we lost an empanada on the lift.
So I guess you're not lucky.
Well, we kept one, and then at the end of the night, we did did go to Kiss Town.
Kiss Town, USA, population U, and DM guy. Lucky D. I mean, you're basically validating his position that he's a lucky guy.
Yeah, he's right. But okay, I have some qualms with this kiss.
Oh boy.
I don't think I have enough time to go through the
No,
qualms.
that is a great teaser when we come back from the break. The qualms from the kiss. Now, if you're just tuning in, I wrote a fantastic joke today. My girlfriend went to the dentist. There was a streaming TV. You could pick whatever channel you wanted. So thank you. Stamping on my punch. Fantastic joke. We will be hearing that as part of a 75-part series tonight, where I say that joke every 30 seconds. It's a great joke. I wrote a good joke.
Really cute. It's like a cute joke.
Every other good joke that I'm proud of is not appropriate for me.
You talking about Jim's funny message, you said?
Yeah, quickly. Jim, former host of the show, sent you a funny message, which was what?
You're killing it, lady. Killing it up your ass.
So you posted a video of you doing stand-up to which Jim said you're killing it up your ass. I will say something in defense of Jim's creepiness when we come back from the break, and I think
it wasn't creepy.
It was creepy.
It wasn't creepy, and you meant to say you're kicking ass.
I'm sure he meant that, but you do not tell a woman she's killing it up her ass. I mean, call me old-fashioned. But I do have a defense for James when we come back, because I don't think he's
delightful.
I don't think he's as creepy as all that. We'll come back with more in a
I don't think he's creepy at all.
No, like that. I didn't say it all. I said like that. Those were your words. We'll be back with Morning Talk today. Produced by Jacob again. I'm James Cooper. Network and the late program. Stick around.
Good morning, it's 4:30. I'm James Foster with your CTV News update. Just over an hour's time last night, Montreal was the scene of two drive-by shootings and a stabbing. The drive-by shooting did not have any injuries in them. The stabbing did send a 39-year-old man to hospital. Police saying that he was meeting with someone in order to complete an online transaction when he was attacked. Quebec City could see its own version of the anti-health measure protests seen in Ottawa. Quebec Unionnoise Bernard Gauthier, often referred to as RAM.
They rolled into Canada's capital to air grievances against pandemic restrictions, COVID-19 vaccine mandates, and Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. The protesters say they want the federal government to reverse the vaccine requirement for international Parliament Hill reporter Cormac McKee. Sentinel reporter Cormac McSweeney doesn't think we're going to see any changes to the government's vaccine mandates because of this so-called bubble. In any case, doing so would still not get a single Canadian trucker across the southern border. The United States made vaccines mandatory for truckers as of January 22nd.
That raises questions of what here.
Trudeau did not meet with what he called the small fringe minority.
Holding unacceptable views.
He's isolated because one of his leaders
He has to go hide himself for 5 days. That's not good.
Aaron O'Toole tweeted he met with truck drivers on Friday. Many of his conservative MPs attended the weekend-long rally. These two from Alberta served coffee to the
Questions now for Conservative leader Aaron O'Toole after we saw some as the defacing of memorials. There will be to support this. One Conservative MP was doing a live interview, and in the background there was an upside-down Canadian flag with a swastika on it.
In a statement, MP Michael Cooper said in part, I would have condemned it as I do now. Whoever was flying the flag here does not represent the thousands of peaceful protesters who waved Canadian flags and acted responsibly. I stand with them and will continue to fight.
Whether they agree with that position or not, it is not a full look. So there will be questions for the Conservative Party moving forward on this.
Lawmakers on both sides questions on Monday when the House of Commons resumes sitting. Now this weekend, staffers have been advised to stay away, and the Prime Minister's it usually says he's at home in Ottawa, instead read the National Capital Region, and reports he had been moved to an undisclosed location. Parliamentary Protective Service says it is keeping a close eye on the situation heading into Monday. Aaron Seolin, City News.
While we've all been focusing on the coronavirus and the complicated stories, mandates good, mandates bad, figures up, figures down, etc., what stories haven't been told, and what will be the consequences of what follows this pandemic? Let's dive into that now. Hello there, you 4.7 million shimmering miracles of social magic. Here together, we get to have this conversation, we get to learn and change the world. Now, I know we use titles that are appealing and catchy, like before the pandemic was bad, next. But the story behind that's a fascinating one, and one that I want you to understand. Being not necessarily distracted, of course, the coronavirus isn't certainly an impactful phenomenon, however you look at it. But what's happening now and what's also been happening during that 2 years is very interesting. New stories are happening. Let's look at those now. In 2020, the number of miles fell 30% because of the pandemic, but the number of traffic deaths rose by 7%. Why would Americans be driving so much more recklessly during the pandemic? But then in the first half of 2021, according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, motor vehicle deaths were up 18.4% even over 2020. Contributing factors according to the agency included driving under the influence, speeding, and failure to wear a seatbelt. I guess where this article is going is when there is something like it's a national and indeed global narrative, it perhaps masks that are impactful and effective in their own way. Statistics like these, indicate that general is a culture in decline. Are we entering a particular form of civilization's endgame? It seems pretty clear to me that we are. This is a moment. Something we need to be aware of is transition. Transition doesn't necessarily mean deterioration. It means be aware, because we're about to enter a liminal space to go in either direction. I suppose the coronavirus narrative has been so tightly controlled and amplified so strongly that we've been distracted from and not invited to examine secondary narratives around mental health, addiction, and consequences of the kind of changes and measures that have been implemented. Now, the figures are no longer reported on American news. Now, as various regulations end in the UK, perhaps this is time to look seriously at what the consequences are and what other stories have been unfolding and what the impact of those stories might be. Not only is reckless driving on the rise, but the number of altercations on their planes has exploded. Well, we know what that plane is. Punching each other in the face and gobbing at each other if they ain't got masks on. The murder rate is surging in cities. Drug overdoses are increasing. Americans are drinking more. Nurses say patients are getting abusive, and so on and so on. It's interesting, isn't it? Because there are numerous vectors, factors, and pieces of information that could be examined. We're so trained on death down, or GDP up, GDP down, that we're forgetting all kinds of other markers. How are you? Are you all right in there? You're a person, you're experiencing life, you're in and out of cars or public transport, you're walking on pavements and sidewalks. How are you feeling? What is your reality like? The news and the government and big business aren't interested in that layer of reality. These symptoms perhaps to connect us to the deeper realities that we all participate in and perhaps can't communicate about. Futures are facing a rising tide of disruptive behaviour. That could be because Mike is here. The Wall Street Journal reported in December, schools have seen an increase in both violent incidents and more serious issues such as fights and gun possession. In Dallas, disruptive classroom incidents have tripled this year compared to pre-pandemic levels, school officials said. Now, of course, that could be because the nature of reporting has changed, but it does seem to indicate an underlying phenomenon, which I bet you personally are aware of, that you feel different, that things seem different to you. When you live in a culture where the only things that matter are things that can be measured, then you start to omit your own actual experience of what it's like to be you, what your emotions are, how your spirit is. It's interesting when you are removed and marginalised out of the territories that are actually the most important things in your life. One of the stories about the pandemic perhaps facilitated the biggest wealth transfer in history, which is tracked and demonstrated proven, or made cartoon villains out of billionaires like Bezos or Bill Gates. We have to consider that these things are real and have real human consequences. Stuff that doesn't perhaps get told or demonstrated or shown or lived by the lens of the mainstream media, but nonetheless is occurring. The quality of lives of ordinary Americans, of ordinary people all over the world, is being negatively affected by the actions, policies, and ideals of the people that are orchestrating the direction, creating the agenda. This month, the Institute for Family Studies published an essay called "The Drug Epidemic Just Keeps Getting Worse." The essay noted that drug deaths have risen almost continuously for more than 20 years, but overdoses shot up, especially during the pandemic. You remember at the beginning when people said, hey, one of these lockdowns maybe cause people to take more drugs, drink more, and even end their own lives. It was like, hey, don't say that. That's unpatriotic. Shut up. Hey, don't think there'll be an increase in like sort of cancer and operations being performed and unnecessary. Hey, shut up. Don't talk about that. It's unpatriotic. What is this country we're supposed to be being patriotic to? And who benefits to the allegiance to this particular flag? The number of gun purchases has soared. In January 2021, more than 2 million firearms were bought. That's a response to fear, lack of trust in powerful institutions, suspicion between each other. All physical actions have an emotional element, an emotional component. As Americans' hostility towards one another seems to be growing, their care for one another seems to be falling. When you look at the media, that's unsurprising, is it? All of the generation of negative propaganda, of reasons to dislike one another, the amplification of ideas. I made a joke about their airline spats and fights and brawls, but there you can literally see it. People are so energized by their opinion around whether or not to wear a mask because of media information that is escalating already frightened, fearful, and tense emotions. A study from Indiana University's Lilly Family School of Philanthropy found that the share of Americans who give to charity is steadily declining. That's kind of sad thing too. Obviously, there's an economic component, but if compassion is decreasing because you're continually told, there's these people, and it's their fault that they're this, or it's their fault that they're that. This is the first time we've seen that. That's what all prejudice and bigotry is based on. They're different, it's their fault. Don't think about them, they're homeless, it's their fault, who cares? And if you start to amplify those narratives, there will be a consequence. In the year 2000, 66.2% of households made a charitable donation, but by 2018, preceding the pandemic, of course, only 49.6% did, so we're creating a less compassionate society. The share who gave to religious causes dropped as worship service attendance did, but the share of households who gave to secular causes also hit a new low, 42% in 2018. We're experiencing the stripping away of meaning, of connection, of our values as human beings, as spiritual beings. These feelings of altruism, compassion, and trust are being replaced by suspicion, doubt, and fear. Who's creating that suspicion, doubt, and fear, and why are they doing it? Let me just, take this as mentality. Because if we all recognise we're basically the same in spite of obvious differences, then we'd get along with one another. We all look different, we all sound different, but ultimately we have the same interests. And people that distract us from that are doing it for a reason. And when we see an increase in distrust, mistrust, violence, hatred, while there's a wealth transfer happening, it would be foolish not to consider that there might be a connection. This is not even to mention the rise in polarization, hatred, anger, and fear. When I went to college, I never worried that I might say something in class that would get me ostracized. But now college students I know fear that one errant sentence could lead to social death. That's a monumental sea change. Again, the culture is creating conditions that are not beneficial to you. Culture is not your friend. Culture is your jailer. But something darker and deeper seems to be happening as well. A long-term loss of solidarity, a long-term rise in estrangement and hostility. This is what it feels like to live in a society that is dissolving from the bottom up as much from the top down. And some of the poisons must be racial. In 2018, the Washington Post had a story headlined, "America is a nation of narcissists," according to 2 new studies. Narcissism, like an individual condition, must have concomitant social causes. If you're continually staring at a screen, scrolling, worrying about your appearance, fearful that if you say one wrong thing, you'll be socially ostracized, it does create self-obsession. That's what narcissism means. You're so obsessed with yourself that your reflection is appealing enough to cause you to die, to spiritually die. And these conditions are indeed cultural. They are created by a culture that doesn't want solidarity and union, because through solidarity, which can only be achieved after awakening, and unity that can only be achieved if you are individually awake, if you're alert and present, you can create worlds. That is the good news here. We started this by saying, what will follow the pandemic? Will it be something worse? Well, the answer is, it's up to you. You can individually awaken. You can treat people well. You can make a decision not to spit at someone because they don't agree with your perspective on a contemporary issue. We can start to focus on where power is concentrated. We can start to organise, like the Canadian truckers are or the Indian farmers do, to create conditions that are beneficial. And we have to look beyond polarisation. We have to get beyond these people disagree with it. That's what they want you to be doing. That should be reason enough for you to stop it. When you find yourself thinking and saying things that the mainstream media wants you to think and say, stop and reflect immediately. But that's just what I think. What do you think? And more importantly, how do you feel? How have you found the time of this pandemic? Are you fearful about going forward? What things are you doing to keep yourself together? What communities are you participating in? How are you going to stop yourself sliding into the dystopia that is being created for you? Let me know in the comments below. Give the video a like. Share it around. If you enjoyed this video, have a look at this one or this one on my side channel. Sign up to my mailing list. I'll communicate with you about what I'm up to. Please come and see me live if you can. I'm performing in February, March, April, May, all over the UK. There's a link in the description.
Many of the problems because one of the social killings were established in Nova Scotia with the foundation of Cobra in 1604. During history, they were ignored by friends and developed a great relationship with indigenous people. They even felt safe when the treaty was signed. In 1715, Acadia became a British colony with the Treaty of Utrecht. However, the Acadians were allowed to keep their lands. During the War of the Spanish Succession between 1710 and 1715, the British captured Cobra. In 1720, Great Britain were already planning to expel Acadians. 40 years after the treaty, Acadians refused to sign the conditional oath of allegiance to Britain if the war happens between France. Very few Acadians were participating in very significant actions against the British. As a result, the British wanted to eliminate any threat. They decided to cut the supply that the Acadians were providing to the Lisbon fortress. In
1754, the French and Indian War occurred. With the French win in the Ohio Valley, the British colony were under pressure. The British government, Charles James, discusses with William Shirley, governor of that the Acadians were providing to the Lisbon fortress. In 1754, the French and Indian War occurred. With the French win in the Ohio Valley, the British British colony were under pressure. The British governor, Charles Lawrence, discusses with William Shirley, governor of Massachusetts, about the possibility of obtaining reinforcement by replacing Acadians with Anglo-American settlers. In 1755, 18,000 soldiers Acadians were established in Nova Scotia with the foundation of Fort Royal in 1604. They were neutral, they were ignored by France, and developed a great relationship with indigenous people. They even felt safe when the treaty was signed. In 1713, Acadia became a British colony with the Treaty of Utrecht. However, the Acadians were allowed to keep their lands. During the War of the Spanish Succession that occurred between 1710 and 1714, the British captured Port Royal. In 1720, Great Britain were already planning to expel Acadians. 40 years after the treaty, Acadians refused to sign an unconditional oath of allegiance to Britain if the war happens between Great Britain and France. Very few Acadians were participating in various military actions against the British. As a result, the British wanted to eliminate any threat. They decided to cut the supply that the Acadians were providing to the Lisbon fortress. In 1754, the French and Indian War occurred. With the French win in the Ohio Valley, the British colony were under pressure. The British governor, Charles Lawrence, discusses with William Shirley, governor of Massachusetts, about the possibility of obtaining reinforcement or replacing Acadians with Anglo-American settlers. In 1755, 18,000 soldiers from New England arrived in Acadia. French forts were captured, weapons and boats were confiscated. Catholic missionaries and priests were arrested and sent to England. In July of 1755, Lawrence urges to take a oath of unconditional allegiance to England. It was refused. Frenchmen were attracted to the local church and fort. They were arrested and put in boats to be expulsed. They were divided by age group and gender. Family members were also separated. They were often shot when they were trying to escape. Many Acadians were deported to American states. Some of them will live for Saint Domingue, a French colony in the Caribbean. Louisiana was also a great option due to the cultural similarities. They're later known as Cajun people. Virginia and North Carolina refused them. They were then sent to England, but some died during the trip. Some Acadians will travel across the continent to find lost family members. In total, more than 12,000 Acadians were deported and around 8,000 died before the landing due to the disease, lack of nutrition, cold, and shipwrecks. To give you an idea, before the deportations, Acadians were around 18,000. Today, Acadians all over the world celebrate their beautiful heritage with pride. They're a great example of resilience. Thanks for watching, and I hope you learn a little bit more about this subject. If you want to see more videos like this, subscribe to my channel, and bye. Flags are used to represent the identity of a specific region of the world. For many, it is difficult to dissect certain elements of a flag. Today, I will explain the meaning of the Canadian provincial and territorial flags. So let's begin. On June 1st, 1968, our British flag was adopted. The provincial coat of arms is displayed in the middle of an ultramarine blue background. The shield was granted by King Edward VII Judy 1907, 2 years after the creation of the province of Alberta. The ultramarine blue background represents the sky. Inside of the shield, the red cross of St. George symbolizes the English settlement in the region. In the middle, the blue sky along with the Canadian Rockies and the shadowy green foothills are displayed as they represent the scenery of Alberta. Finally, the wheat field, as it is a typical landscape in the province, along with blue gold, became the official colors of Alberta in 1984 as it represented the wheat fields. The flag that the province of British Columbia had when it joined Canada on July 20, 1871 was a modified version of the British Union sign to represent the colony of British Columbia. The coat of arms of the province was adopted in 1906, which introduced us to another version of the British sign. The shield was designed by Archer John Binghams. The cannon of Christ Church Cathedral. The current flag is based on this coat of arms, and it is in June 27, 1960 that it will be shown for the first time during the activist reign of Mayor William Andrew Cecil Bennett. The four wavy white and three wavy blue lines symbolize the province's location between the Pacific Ocean and the Rocky Mountains. The setting sun represents the fact that British Columbia is Canada's westernmost province, but it might also be from an old saying about how the sun never sets on the British Empire. The Union flag on top is for the British heritage of British Columbia, and the crown in the center represents British Columbia becoming a crown colony and achieving a responsible government. The Renaissance present in the flag of Manitoba caused and still causes a lot of confusion with the neighboring province of Ontario. The only difference is the coat of arms. During a time of uncertainties, during the 1960s, Canada had to create a flag that will unify the country. Before the creation of the Maple Leaf in 1965, Canada displayed the Renaissance flag. The new Maple Leaf flag outraged as they were more favorable to keep the red ensign on the national flag. On May 11, 1966, Manitoba adopted the red ensign in their provincial flag. The Manitoba shield highlights its English past, along with the bison, which represents the indigenous peoples of the province. They use this animal as food and clothing. Moreover, it is also the official animal of Manitoba. In 1868, the provincial coat of arms was adopted and was later used to create the flag we know today. On May 25, 1965, the current flag of New Brunswick will be adopted today. On May 25, 1965, the current flag of New Brunswick will be adopted. Up of New Brunswick's flag represents the ties to the Brunswick region in Germany, as well as the coat of arms of the King of England. Indeed, the province's name is to honor King George III, who also held the title of Brunswick, which meant that both states had a connection to the province. On the other end, the land flag on the waves, showing at the bottom two-thirds of the flags, represents New Brunswick's historical shipbuilding industry, or the ships used by many loyalists of the province after they escaped the U.S. when the American Revolutionary War broke out. The province of Newfoundland and Labrador joined Canada in a referendum which occurred in 1949. Before it was an independent British colony, it will take 31 years to see the flag that we honor today, as it was adopted on June 6, 1980. Before this day, the Union flag was the provincial flag of the province. The blue represents the waters of the sea, lakes and rivers, the white, snow and ice, the red, human effort, and the gold symbolizes the confidence the people of Newfoundland and Labrador have in themselves within the future. It can also be said that the blue triangles are meant to honor the Union Jack, therefore the British heritage of the province, while the two red triangles represent the two regions of the province, Labrador and the island or Newfoundland. This flag is the first one that the Northwest Territories endorsed before the creation of the province of Saskatchewan in Alberta in 1905. The flag of the Hudson's Bay Company was used. In 1969, the Special Committee of the Legislative Assembly of the Northwest Territories chose the current flag. The flag features two blue fields, which symbolize the abundance of lakes and rivers in the Northwest Territories, while in the center, a big white stripe taking up half the width of the flag, which represents snow and ice. In the middle of the flag, the provincial coat of arms that was adopted on February 24, 1956. Inside, three different sections. The first section at the top, a river, is displayed in a white background, which refers to the Northwest Passage going through the Pacific Ocean. A diagonal line connects the red and section. The green section symbolizes the trees, the gold bars, or minerals. When it comes to the red section, it symbolizes the tundra. Inside, the white fox is shown as a representation of fur. Indeed, minerals and furs hold an important place in the history and prosperity of the Northwest Territories. The flag of Nova Scotia is an inverted version of Scotland's flag, a goose and angels cross instead of white, and a white background instead of blue. In the middle of the cross, an escutcheon bearing the royal arms of Scotland, a gold shield with a red lion rampant, surrounded by a royal noble treasure decorated with fleur de lis. The Scottish influence in the flag is due to the province's name, which is Latin for New Scotland, given by William Alexander, first Earl of Stirling, a courtier and poet who was sent by King James first to create a Scottish colony in North America. Moreover, the flag of the province was created as a banner of the coat of arms. This shell was introduced long before the Canadian Confederation even existed on May 28, 1625, followed by May 1858. April 1st, 1999, Nunavut became a territory when it was separated from the Northwest Territories. This territory was created because the Inuit wanted to have their own land. Of course, the flag representing the own land of the Inuit was important. It is also April 1st, 1999, that the current flag will be adopted. It features a red Inuksuk, which is a traditional Inuit market. The color red was chosen to represent Canada. The blue star represents the Maker's Sutok, a North Star, and the leader of elders. Also, gold and blue represent the riches of the land, the sea, and the sky. Like it was mentioned for the Manitoba flag, Ontario also carries a red ensign on their flag, however, with their own provincial coat of arms, which was created on May 26, 1868. Ontario's flag was adopted on May 21, 1965, when the Premier of Ontario, John Roberts, designed the Ontarian flag. For some reasons, created their own. Inside of the shield, the English highlighting the ties with the crown, and the three golden meteors on a green background symbolize Canada's the maple leaf. May 24, 1964, the flag of President Island was adopted. This flag's design is from the shield granted by King Edward VII in 1905 to the province of the English heraldic lion, which was also displayed in the arms of the Prince Edward, Duke of Kent, the province was named after him. The lower flag showed an island on which appear three small segments. They symbolize the three counties of PEI, Queens and Kings, present since 1767, while the big oak tree represents Great Britain that protects this beautiful island. Three sides of the flag are red and white bands, which represent Canada's official. In 1937, a member of the Legislative Assembly, René Chavy, demanded a new provincial flag to displace the unpopular Canadian red ensign and to replace the neglected Quebec blue ensign. Between 1902 to 1948, a modern version of the Cavignon flag was a flag of the province, which happens to be really similar to the U.S. Quebec flag. Moreover, they are both similar to the flag of New France. The French colony ruled the province between 1608 to 1760. On January 21, 1948, the current flag of Quebec, known as Fleur de Lysée, was adopted. In the middle of the flag, a white cross, symbolizing Christianity. Indeed, religion had an important impact on the history of the province. The rural blue background is the color of the coat of arms of the sovereigns of France, who reigned during the French domination of America. The Fleur de Lys is a symbol of the French monarchy. The flag of Saskatchewan was adopted on September 20, 1969, after a competition was held in the province and the design of Anthony Drake was chosen. The flag is divided by the two provincial colors. At the top, green is displayed to symbolize forested areas, while the gold color represents the south of the province, where grain fields. To the right, a prairie lady, which is the provincial emblem, the coat of arms, and the flag August 25, 1906. Inside, representing the province agriculture. Heralded sheep of wheat has become a generalized symbol of the province. The application was officially selected from a territory-wide design competition as part of Canada's centennial celebrations. In 1967, it was adopted on March 1st, 1968. The tricolor is highlighted with the color green, representing increased forests, white symbolizing the snow, and blue lakes and rivers. In the middle of the large stripe, the photographs of Yukon golden wheat, of fireweed, the floral emblem. Indeed, Yukon's shield was created in 1956. Inside, the red cross represents England, while the called bear, which is a type of erotic fruit and symbolizes England's wealth of fruit-bearing animals. The lower part of the shell represents Yukon's mountains, with the gold discs representing the mineral resources available in Yukon, as well as its birth in the Klondike Gold Rush. The two lines represent the territory's rivers. The crest is an Alaskan Malamute dog standing of snow. These dogs are often used by the inhabitants of sled dogs to move around the territory. Let me know in the comments below which flag is your favorite. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel to see more videos. And bye.
And joining us now for the full hour, Jean Chrétien. 30 years ago, he was Canada's Minister of Justice. He went on to become Prime Minister. Roy McMurtry, 30 years
Well, it is great to have three amigos of the Constitution here in our studio. And tonight, I want to start by setting the stage and taking you back 30 years plus 5 months. November 1981, representatives from the federal government and the 10 provinces carried out a repatriation of our Constitution. You three meet in a kitchenette, a pantry, at the conference center. And here is former CBC News reporter, now Senator Mike Duffy, with the details. We'll take it.
Been made in some pretty unusual places, but there are a few historic sites. Another ordinary-looking kitchen on the 5th floor of the National Conference. We're told that it is in this room that the seeds of the compromise that was reached today. Here, this afternoon, Bill and Vicky came back to the kitchen where they met yesterday. That's the one I gave them. The one that I have is right here. But instead, I got on the right one in the pocket. So yesterday it was movement. We had another meeting here. Yesterday morning first, and yesterday. So at that time, we said we might do 3, and after that, it was 5, and by 2 o'clock in the morning.
Mr. President, what were the circumstances guys in that kitchen on that night?
Because we had been debating to solve the problem of application of the Constitution. At the same time, the Prime Minister Trudeau wanted and it was a debate that he was ready to repatriation and a Charter of Rights, but we had it was what we call a people's package, but also rights, delegation of powers, or conference powers by the federal government, and there was no end to the discussion. 8 provinces and 4 called the Gang of 8, and Romano was there. It was a gang of 2, Davis and Ashley. And of course, we were going nowhere. 3 of us in the morning, and if there's any solution, and by the afternoon, we're going nowhere. No, he said it's over. And I said, give us. And he adjourned to the meeting in the morning. Asked Robino, and we met in the kitchen, and after that, eventually McMurphy came and joined us. And basically, it was not a complex deal. It was not tons of pages. It was, we wanted to patriate the Constitution and have a Charter of Rights. The difficulties were the amending formula. We had an amending formula that was agreed in Victoria that gave a veto to Quebec. 8 at first with Quebec to drop the veto. Formula that called for 50% of the population. It was not what Trudeau wanted. The Premier of Quebec had accepted. And some thought that the Charter of Rights was to give support. And some of us, Trudeau, I felt somewhat that the people elected should have a way to overrule judges if that could happen. They have these crisis breakers. And now that became the notwithstanding clause.
I want you to pick up the story from there. You meaning William Davis and your team, were on side with Mr. Trudeau's package. You in New Brunswick.
Yes.
How come from the beginning you were prepared to side?
Well, I think Bill Davis realized that this was gone on long enough, and we had to move. That's why we to support the unilateral approach of the federal government without the support of the provinces, except for Ontario. But it should be pointed out that while the Prime Minister had to be meeting together with other ministers in summer of 1980 and time together. This wasn't something that just came together overnight. We knew each other well. We'd been to the Cambridge Law Conference in July of 1981. The Supreme Court. We met in the decision, and so we had a lot of as we had the drama of the kitchen floor.
Mr. Wilson, how come you were offside from the Prime Minister's package?
Well, basically, we have two problems in Saskatchewan. One is the Supreme Court decision, which, in effect, as we interpret it, is not constitutional for the province to deal with it. Did so on the argument that the resource crossed interprovincial boundaries and international boundaries under federal jurisdiction, section 912. So, Blakeney also had, Premier Blakeney also had some reservations. The Ontario I want to pick up what McMurphy says. Us knowing the file, we're not the only ones. Administration, the other governments, their advisors to the file. And after a while, just Secretary and myself as co-chairs. That's the way they described it.
We were meeting every times, and he was a chair representing the side, and we were on TV all the time, and they called it the Duke and the Chicken. I was the Duke. It must have been the background.
But the point is, we knew the file, and we knew each other, and we knew
The second point that I want to pick up on that afternoon was a meeting on the fourth floor. Was when Mr. Lebec said that we have to reason was for that he wanted to obviously bring to an end. Mr. Trudeau said, well, if we can't get an agreement, we will have a national stunned everybody. That's my recollection. We shall finish off on this. Prime Minister's came to me amongst others and said, look, we got to find a little room because of the crisis. I shouldn't say this, but I remember at one point, may not have been in the country, the Prime Minister said, I went through one referendum in Quebec. The families were divided down the middle. I can't imagine something. One referendum. We have talked about it.
We're talking about Prime Minister Pretzel.
he was just
What happened is if we were at deadlock, and when Trudeau, I remember debating that with Bill Davis and Trudeau at one time before. We were not keen about having a referendum, but Trudeau said we have more or less became a capital. We didn't know what was to happen if there was to be a referendum. And right away, Lebec jumped up. And every other senators and ministers of the other provinces were stunned.
That was a mistake, wasn't it?
Yes, because how can Romney go in Saskatchewan and Lake and Lougheed, his first bill in Alberta,